but her own ego was her downfall. She bragged about her prize so much that she was hunted down and killed by people jealous of her power. But now, Minhun is early. Whether it was hers or his, he is going to snag that treasure for himself. Colors bleed out of reality, swallowing the park whole until everything is replaced by the dungeon's virtual world. The entrance gate appears in front of him. Without blinking, Minhun picks the teleport option to the starting zone. System data is loading fast. 20%, 98, 100, sync complete. He is now cast as Talfi, a warrior who survived a brutal Viking invasion. According to the lore, Thor got jealous of Talfi's lightning-fast legs and kidnapped his younger sister as payback. Boom, quest triggered. They's rage is live. Time to get into character and snatch this new sister from the god's greedy hands. Winning secures the boots, but losing is a death sentence. If his sister dies or he falls, Minhun is dead for real. He remembers the lore. Thialfi was just some human servant to the guy with the lightning hammer. But this version is flipped. The character hates the Norse gods because the jerks who trashed his home worshipped them. Wait, Minhun stops. The bedtime stories his mom told him definitely did not go down like this. His thoughts get wrecked when some guy starts screaming right in his face. Wake up, Talfi! His eyes snap open on a ship they are hijacking to track down his captured sister. The loudmouth is Frederick, the brain behind a suicide mission that might just get them all killed. Minhun grins and stands up, but before he can even move, a massive impact rocks the ship, nearly tossing everyone overboard. Total disaster. This is officially a mess. Stealing a ship was hard enough, but now pirates are jumping them? Seriously? Just my luck. A pack of killers with axes and shields swarms the deck. Confused but ready, Minhun looks at Frederick. I am leaving this part to you. He leaps over to the pirate ship with style, leaving everyone staring. One pirate starts laughing his head off. Hey kid, are you out of your mind or what? Why jump here when you should be running? I am gonna gut you like a fish right now. Minhun ignores the trash talk and locks eyes with a girl tied up on the mast. She looks exactly like the pro who beat this dungeon in the original timeline. Captive? Her? No way. Right then, the system pings. That prisoner is Rasva, Talfi's little sister. Talk about a plot twist. Meanwhile, her brain is melting. I am Seo Hyun, the genius intellect and legendary conqueror. This is embarrassing. I have got world-class talent. So why am I tied up like a Thanksgiving turkey right now? She clutches her head, screaming inside. How did my life turn into this absolute circus? There was a 0.6% chance of this dungeon appearing. The odds of getting trapped, 0.03%. How did a genius like me hit the absolute jackpot of cosmic misfortune? Seo Hyun reviews her tragedy and tries to break free. Suddenly, she spots some guy just wandering through the total carnage. She followed him out of curiosity and ended up kidnapped. Now she is stuck playing Thialfi's sister. This plot is giving me a massive headache. Back on deck, Minhun just facepalms. Great, this chaotic disaster is the sister I have to rescue. Seeing him distracted, the pirates let a volley of arrows fly. Minhun is totally annoyed. He pops his magic armor to block the arrows and roars in pure frustration. Why is it always me? Why do I always deal with these total lunatics? His fist glows and drops like a hammer, deleting a bunch of enemies in a split second. He smashes another guy's face in and gives the survivors a cold stare. I am short on time. All of you, just attack at once. In minutes, Minhun clears the ship. He walks right up to the only girl left and talks. You still faking it? How long are you going to play the role of Rasva? She rolls her eyes, meets his gaze, and sighs. Fine, you caught me. I assume you are Soa. Minhun nods and yells. Boom! He punches the wall right next to her head, eyes going dark as he drops a heavy warning. I know what you are thinking. Forget the games and start using your head. Surprise, surprise. It actually worked. Thanks to that weird meeting and some luck, the mission was a total walk in the park. They get warped to the rest area. Once there, he asks her straight up, So, what kind of skill are you hiding? Seo rubs her cheek. Well, it is just a little something to help my sword skills. No lie. It is just D-rank basic swordsmanship. Lying was basically her favorite hobby at this point. She thought she could play him, figuring most kids did not know the first thing about sword arts. She looked pretty smug, planning to use this trick to lead him along. Too bad she was just a fox trying to fool a tiger. Minhun knew better. He immediately called out her secret knowledge. Cognitive acceleration. It slows down time and boosts your brain speed. That is a high-level skill for actual commanders. It is killer for reading minds and calling bluffs. Seoa turned ghost white once her lies got totally wrecked. Minhun was not about to carry some dead weight or start some lame romance. He got up to ditch her. Freaked out, she scrambled after him. She apologized like crazy, swearing she would do whatever to prove she was cool. Perfect. Forget a high IQ when you have leverage. Minhun smirked like a demon and whipped out a contract. Just like that, she signed a trash deal where he got basically everything, and she got nothing. He already used his brainwashing skill to lock her down. Now, double-crossing him was impossible, no matter her shady plans. The pair headed out again, feeling the creepy vibes. Sioa asked nervously, "So, where are we headed?" Minhan answered with a totally blank face. "The haunted house. That is stop number 1. Help me." Sioa could not stop herself from screaming. A haunted house? Minhan knew she was absolutely losing it. He ignored her whining, stood at the entrance of the horror mission, and told her to move her butt. "We are here. Like it or not, we are going in." The big park mission pack just went live. They instantly warped in front of a trashy mansion smelling like straight demon energy. Then, the guide board popped up. Goal: escape without breaking 3 rules, even though some of your skills are totally locked. Before going in, Minhan asked for her role. She answered fast. "Duh, I am the cameraman. And you?" Minhan revealed his identity was way cooler. "I am a streamer who specializes in scary horror content." Suddenly, a voice cut through the air. "It has been forever since we had company. Hello to you both." A creepy voice echoed as a beefy old dude appeared from nowhere. He stared with a face straight out of nightmares. "I am Anfet, the mansion butler and servant to Countess Flander." As he spoke, the system dropped the full mission details. Task: use that camera to expose the mansion secrets and get out alive. Reward: a new skill called Mirage. Penalty for failing: death. Anfet opened the gate, claiming the Countess ordered a meal for them. He was calm while Sioa shook, way too scared to say a word. They headed inside. Right after entering, she froze solid in front of a huge portrait. The butler did not hide a thing. "That is the portrait of our mistress and her cute dog, Shin." Minhan was nice to the Countess. Suddenly, the butler look turned into pure horror again. True, she has many happy memories, like a dream. "Follow me this way." He led them to a dining room with a feast. Anfet did not go in but guarded the door. He spoke really fast. "Here is a feast from Countess Flander for our guests. Enjoy. I will be back when you are done." Slam. The door shut. Sioa protested immediately. "We definitely should not touch this food. It looks like the last meal of our lives." Forget brute force. She chose intel. It was time for her real skills to shine. Sioa stood frozen in place. Skill activated. Perception acceleration. She scanned every inch of the room in milliseconds. The answer popped up instantly. She ran toward Minhan. Her eyes lit up with the discovery. "The boss here is a kid, maybe 12 years old. Look at the furniture and layout. Based on height metrics, I am 90% sure." Minhan nodded. Her logic was on point. They got ready to hunt for clues while the butler was gone. Then, disaster struck. The door was locked from the outside. While they were trapped in the dark, chaos broke out in the real world. 2 hours had passed since the theme dungeon showed up. Reporters in government suits swarmed the place like vultures. In a dark corner, some guy rubbed his neck and cursed under his breath. "Damn it all. We were so close to a promotion. Why did this nightmare have to spawn now? Am I right? Who could have guessed a theme dungeon would pop up in a stupid playground? If the council fails this operation, you are getting demoted and my promotion is dead too." The tired official, Gogel, ordered a data check. Who is actually inside that gate? The subordinate was a guy named Park Jong-hun. He pulled the file. The second he saw the name Minhun, the stress vanished. It was like a mountain was lifted off his shoulders. He looked at his boss with a cocky smirk. "Sir, you can consider this dungeon cleared. We have 0 to worry about." Back in the locked room, Sioa started panicking. Minhun saw her shaking and stepped in. "Stay calm. This is a dungeon. Per the system laws, there is always an exit." His words actually worked. Her mood lifted, though her face stayed white as a ghost. She decided to scout the area, but like they say, people who fear ghosts always find them first. Sia barely started searching when a scream shattered the silence. She started rambling like a total mess. "Hey look, get over here, the camera. Something is seriously wrong with the camera." Minhan rolled his eyes, thinking she was just being dramatic. But one look at that screen changed everything. This story just went from a standard game system to straight-up survival horror. On the display, a total nightmare was waiting. Alfred the butler was sprawled across the dining table, soaked in a massive pool of blood. Sia stuttered, fear choking her out. "So the Alfred who led us here, he is a complete fake." The second they realized it, a notification chimed in their heads. "System alert. The first mystery of the mansion has been uncovered." Minhan narrowed his eyes. "This camera," he said coldly, "it shows us exactly what the naked eye cannot see." He ripped the device from her shaking hands. Zooming in, he started connecting the dots. If the Alfred we met is a fraud, then this screen is showing us the actual truth. We are seeing the past or maybe some nasty reality hidden by an illusion. The truth hit Sia like a bolt of lightning. It was the mansion's twisted history. If Alfred died on that table, then the meat dishes they served us earlier. They are definitely not fit for any human to eat. Minhan tossed the camera back. He tried using absolute calculation to break the illusion. Error. Crap. It was on the list of restricted skills. Suddenly, he saw Sia crawling under the table. "What are you doing?" he asked. The key, she stammered. I am looking for the exit key. In the camera view, this was the only spot that looked different. The key has to be stashed right here. A flash of respect hit Minhan's eyes. She is sharp, he thought. He immediately fired up mana detection to sweep the whole room. His sensory field scanned the table and locked onto a single target, the bowl of green pudding. Sia was shaking like a leaf in a hurricane. Minhan, being a total jerk, smirked. What is wrong, scared? That set her off. She would die before admitting fear to him. She marched to the pudding and rolled up her sleeves. She knew exactly what this spot was in that bloody vision. It was the victim's severed head. Fighting the urge to puke, she shoved her hand into the slimy green mass. She fumbled around until her fingers hit cold metal. The second mystery has been solved. The illusion flickered, and momentum was finally on their side. Using the camera like a ghost hunter's compass, they tracked the third clue to the guest bedroom. A nightmare waited on screen. A river of dark blood was oozing out from under the locked door. Sia's legs turned to jelly instantly. She collapsed, refusing to take another step. Minhan sighed. Shut up and stay here. Do not scream unless you are literally dying. If you see something, yell. I will come running. He kicked the door open and stepped in. Pitch black shadows swallowed him, broken only by the dim moonlight. Whoosh! A pale white shadow darted right past him. Minhan spun around and his heart skipped a beat. A young girl stood there, her entire upper body soaked in blood. The ghost's mouth was ripped from ear to ear, whispering some nasty curse. She pointed a shaking finger right at him. No, wait. She was pointing at the butler standing right behind his back. That was it for him. Minhan's soul basically left his body as he passed out cold. When he finally woke up, Sia was guarding him. He looked around the room, seeing blood-stained torture tools scattered like a scene from hell. He cursed under his breath. Even after prepping himself, he had nearly died of fright. Once he calmed down, Sia used her cognitive acceleration skill. Her deduction was lightning fast. They were trapped in some underground dungeon that reeked of pain and death. She clicked her tongue in total disgust. Seriously? What kind of person puts a torture chamber inside a fancy mansion? Minhan gripped the bars, looking for a key. Then, with zero hesitation, he punched his fist straight through the solid stone wall. As the dust cleared, he said something ridiculous. Let's try to keep it down. It would be bad if Alfred heard us being loud. After wrecking a whole wall, they barely escaped the cell when a small puppy tackled Minhan like a long-lost friend. Clamped in its mouth was a shiny key. Sia screamed, jumping back, "Drop it! It is a trap!" But Minhan felt no bad vibes from the dog. He figured the poor thing was just another prisoner stuck here. Sia tried to be logical. Dungeons do not just hand out keys. If this dog is bait, we are dead. Unfortunately for her anxiety, the dog was actually just a very good boy. Suddenly, a notification popped up. Hidden quest. Objective: sneak into the Countess's room on the 4th floor and read her diary within 2 hours. Success gets you a new skill. Failure means a messy end. That skill seemed like the only way out of this nightmare. They didn't miss a beat, booking it to the 3rd floor, but the hallway turned into a total maze. That camera drone vanished after quest number 2, leaving them solo in the dark. Soa was talking to Minjun when she saw him spacing out at nothing. His face went ghost white. She followed his eyes and saw it. That spirit was back, blocking their way again. Ignoring Seo, Minjun walked right up to the ghost. "Why are you still hanging around?" he snapped. "You got beef with this mansion or what?" Dead silence. He tried a different vibe. "You here to help us out?" The ghost gave a slow nod. Minjun cut to the chase. "Just tell me one thing. Where is Count Flanders' room on the 4th floor?" The ghost pointed a pale finger the other way. Minjun promised to help her cross over later, then grabbed Soa and bolted for the real path. Those massive doors creaked open. It wasn't some fancy bedroom. It was a total disaster zone. Trash and busted furniture were everywhere. "Check the corners," Minjun barked. "I am hitting the desk." He walked to the dusty table and grabbed a worn-out book. It was the dead girl's diary. It told the sad story of Flander, from her better days until the end. May 5th, her body was giving out from some sickness. May 10th, a rare happy moment. Her parents gave her a gorgeous doll, but things went south fast. May 12th, her whole world fell apart. A letter showed up saying her parents were gone, murdered by a bunch of bandits. May 15th, she took over the mansion, but the pressure was huge and the loneliness was soul-crushing. She was isolated until October 4th. A ray of hope. She spotted a kid picking flowers in the yard and named her Sally. They became total besties instantly. Then things started getting weird. Alfred the butler vanished. Sally claimed he was just away on city business, but when he came back, he was off. October 9th, the mansion turned into a butcher shop. Screams filled the servants' wing. Maids and cooks were screaming like their throats were getting torn out. Flander was absolutely paralyzed by fear. Then that night came. A knock at her door right at midnight. It was Sally and Alfred. She felt it in her gut. They weren't there to serve her. They were there to end her, and she had nowhere to hide. Minjun slammed the book shut. The pieces finally clicked. Flander was murdered. And the big bad running this house? It wasn't even a ghost. It was a doppelganger. Then chaos hit in a heartbeat, right as Minhun finally realized the truth. The thing standing behind him twisted into something absolutely horrific. This monstrosity was so nasty it would break a normal person's mind instantly. A swarm of creepy butlers crawled from the shadows, guarding that long-limbed freak. Damn it. Why can't a dungeon ever just play by the regular rules for once? Getting jump-scared at 3 in the morning is enough to stop anyone's heart. Suddenly, a system window dinged during the chaos. The mansion's secret was out, but the mission was now dead simple. Run for your freaking life. Before things got worse, the doppelganger lunged, arms stretching like rubber to grab him. Yet Minhun stayed chill, holding that confused little puppy. He dodged like it was nothing and sneered. So you finally decided to show your ugly face. I was getting sick of your trash acting skills. It wasn't exactly a hard puzzle to solve. Am I just a genius, or are you really that brain dead? The doppelganger let out a furious roar. The fight popped off instantly, filling the hall with the sound of breaking stone and falling walls. Even mid-fight, he wouldn't drop that barking dead weight. Red slime surged from every corner, but it stood no chance against his power. Minjun's lightning chains tore through that filth like wet paper. The golden pup got tossed around like a toy, totally dazed by the speed. Staring down the red sludge, Minhun just laughed to himself. A B-rank monster is scary when it copies your skills, sure, but in a real fistfight, it is soft as mud. It wouldn't quit, stretching its limbs to hijack his body. Way too slow for this guy. Lightning chains wrapped the creature tight. It just watched helplessly as thunderbolts rained down, erasing it until there wasn't even a speck left. The investigation felt like forever, but the actual fight was over in a heartbeat. Mission number 2 was finally in the bag. Minjun said goodbye to the Countess's spirit and moved right along. Both he and Seo were warped away, teleported straight to the final mission of this hidden package. They just landed when a massive explosion of noise hit them. Welcome to Neverland, everyone. I am Bruin, your host for the day. Join my magnificent parade. Fireworks lit up the sky in crazy colors. The masked guy rushed over, hyping them up. Greetings, Minjun. You crushed those first 2 missions. Seriously, great work. He tried to act all charming, but our guy had zero patience for fake talk. Minhan shut him down fast. What is the final mission? Bruin, quit the act. The last game? Tag. He pointed toward a massive gate in the distance. Your goal is pretty simple. Outrun the monsters coming from there and reach the finish line. But here is the catch. Monsters spawn based on player count and power levels. Hearing that, Minhan knew it was a trap. Since his power is way above the norm, protecting her while fighting is a nightmare. The Game Master scanned them and detected an S-rank presence. The beast behind the gate was released instantly. Minhan yelled in protest at how insane this was. Out of the dimensional rift, a massive fire titan ripped the gate open to enter their world. Minhan scanned the enemy data for a weakness, but his eyes locked onto the final line of the notification. Participant count 3. He could not believe it. Who the hell was sandbagging the team right now? It was only the 2 of them. So, who was the invisible third player cranking the difficulty level up to hell mode? Surtur, an entity that drowned the world in fire long before the giant Ymir ever walked the earth. The sword in its hand burned so hot it could turn everything to ash without even trying. While Minhan and Sohyun ran, the gods of the Fenny Guild watched for fun. A black cat floated nearby, lazily cleaning itself. Hey, maybe we went too far. Should I help them? The pig watched from afar and just scoffed. Let them be. I want to see how he survives this despair. The fire giant swung. A massive section of the park turned to ash. Minhan popped his magic barrier, but even he felt the crushing impact. The situation went from bad to total disaster. Just as they lost their bearings, So-hyun pointed at a sign. I think the finish line is over there. 10 points for observation. He did not hesitate. Using his speed skill, he grabbed her and bolted forward like lightning, but their path was blocked. A giant fireball from the boss crashed in front of them. With no other way to survive, Minhan turned to So-hyun with a grim realization. Listen up and stay sharp. We have to split up right now. You run straight for the Ferris wheel. With the flames of destruction literally at his heels, Minhan is out of options. He has to face the boss head-on to win. Standing before the burning red monster, he roars to get its attention. Over here, you bastard. He jumps onto a roof, taunting the beast to follow. Meanwhile, So-hyun sprints for the exit like her life depends on it. But luck is cruel. Just steps from freedom, massive debris falls from the sky, blocking her path entirely. Surtur is behind this little trick. The escape mission instantly falls apart. Now the objective has changed. Defeat the enemy to survive. The giant laughs. Tiny insects. Did you think you could defy me? That sadistic tone. Minhan is officially pissed. His face turns ice cold as he activates Odin's left eye. A chilling resolve forms in his mind. It has come to this. I have to kill him. A massive pillar of fire hurtles toward him, but he catches it bare-handed. Surtur is stunned and follows up with another devastating strike. Flames erupt everywhere, swallowing the whole battlefield. From afar, So-hyun watches him fight alone, her heart pounding with guilt. But her genius, 150 IQ, kicks into high gear. In a split second, she makes a strategy to take down the boss. While dodging attacks, they regroup for a fleeting moment. It is enough, So-hyun points it out, a massive water tank nearby. Even if this monster looks like a god, it is just a dungeon copy. It does not possess the immortality or power of the original myth. Her role is to use her skills to calculate the perfect trajectory. His job? Lure the beast straight into the trap. Seconds tick by. After some flawless teamwork, they finally get the target into position. Minhun takes an arrogant stance, launching a mind game to shatter the enemy's composure. I heard you could not even match the Norse gods. You are just a glorified janitor. Do not you dare call me weak. He pauses, preparing the final insult. Are you afraid of me, a mere human? That does it. Surt loses his mind with blinding rage. The taunt works perfectly. Abandoning all reason, the boss swings his massive sword down with force, but the blade only cuts through an illusion. A second later, the water tank explodes, unleashing a massive flood on the fire giant. Steam explodes as the beast screams. Minhun does not hesitate. He plunges down from above, driving his dagger deep into the monster's chest. The boss glares with hatred, barely managing to wheeze out two words. Dirty play. Too bad for him. He is dealing with the shameless Minhun. The hero just nods. So what? A win is a win. The monster's eyes pop with rage. Before vanishing, he swears a blood oath to settle the score soon. Don't get cocky. You only beat a clone. When you face the real me, victory will not come so easily. After that creepy warning, the brutal fight finally ends. The boss is down for the count. Min Jae-hyun unlocks a new skill, Flame of Surt. For his epic performance, he scores Thiazi's boots and a bonus skill, Steps of Light. As for Seo-an, she nabs the Seal of Roskva, boosting stats by 50 and gaining a courage skill to resist fear. The illusion barrier breaks, and the creepy battlefield turns back into a regular amusement park. The shocked crowd outside sees the duo walk out and instantly swarms them with a ton of questions. The feds try to grab Minhun first, but by the time they push through, he's already gone. Now the spotlight is all on poor Seo-ayun. While the media mob drowns her, Park Young-yoon turns to his buddy. Did he use stealth? Is that kid an assassin class? But Seo-jock shakes his head with a different theory. No, I doubt it. According to instructor Kim Jong-hyun, Min Jae-hyun belongs to the Mage class. That guy is a battle mage. Thanks to the association stepping in, news of Minhun is totally wiped. Meanwhile, Principal Jalingu is sweating bullets. He hands a special mission to his henchman, instructor Dong-soo. The lackey bows low. As you wish, sir. From now on, I will report every detail about student Minhun. A spy mission for a new agent. That means the last spy has already been taken out. The principal turns to the big screen, muttering darkly, You must pull the weeds to keep a garden beautiful. I am looking forward to this. I will wipe out all the filth blocking my way. Back at the academy, Min Jae-hyun gets grilled by his best friend, Kim Do-young. But amidst their banter, a shadow falls over the room. A voice cuts in. I think I see a really annoying face. Is that him? The flashy, arrogant Lee Soo-huk enters. The other students whisper in total confusion. Who is this guy? He drops his bangs, and his whole vibe instantly changes into someone else. But before he acts all tough, instructor Dong-soo issues a cold warning. Lee Soo-hyuk, keep your voice down while you are inside my classroom. Humiliated by the scolding, he shoots a nasty look at Minhun before slinking to his corner like a beaten dog. The new instructor wastes no time, jumping straight into her intro and the school curriculum. With a snap of her fingers, she has the assistant pass out materials. Confusion hits the room as students flip the pages. It is blank, there is nothing but the cover, one kid shouts, sparking a wave of agreement. Is this a printing error? It is totally empty. But when the book hits Minhun's hands, the story is different. Professor Jung Yi-soo catches his tiny smile. Her eyes narrow playfully. Minhun, maybe you can tell us what is in the book. As ancient runes roll off his tongue, her face changes instantly. This wasn't just a book. It was a magic cipher that needed crazy math to decode. For most geniuses, cracking this code would take at least a week of hard work. Yet, Minhun cracked it instantly. He was proving to be way more of a beast than Principal Jean claimed. Needing to check his genius, she pressed on. What do the cover runes mean? Even though it sounded crazy, Minhun did not hesitate. He recited the answer perfectly. The life of Odin and basic runes. After blazing through the class like a supernova, the very guy who swore to stay low-key immediately bolts for the library. The book was a goldmine of secrets. It showed how math formulas could totally change magic depending on how you use them. Take the lightning chain, for example. It was a complex hybrid of Xana theory and lightning magic. A mage could reach higher levels just by mastering these algorithms. As he studies, two familiar faces show up. While Seiya managed to read the cover, Kim Doyoung, the guy who actually taught him magic, was staring at blank pages in total confusion. They chatted away, totally oblivious to the creepy black crow outside the window, watching them with smart eyes. Days blurred into a routine until the theory lectures ended. Minhun wasted no time hunting down Professor Yongyu before she could slip away. "Professor, I have a question about these advanced texts I am studying." He shoves the book at her, demanding answers about its cryptic secrets. This kid is relentless. Cold sweat hits Youngie Soo the second she sees the cover. This material baffles even senior professors. How was she even supposed to explain this mess? Inside, she was sobbing while staring at him in pure horror. What kind of freak student is this? No normal person has this much grit. It is insane. Realizing he was hitting a wall, Minhun aimed higher. He brought that legendary Four Spirits grimoire straight to the big boss, Guildmaster Rosen. He laid it out. Creation to birth magic, destruction to trash it, and amplification to boost his power to the max. Every single formula in this book was on some next level, god-tier stuff. Decoding this alone was basically impossible. He had leaned on the Eye of Odin way too much, but real power needs real brains. He was done being a puppet for the system. Rozo could see that hunger burning in his eyes, but she knew she could not just hand over the cheat codes. He had to grind this path out solo. She told him those grimoire concepts had to be felt. Without his own lightbulb moment, these words were just useless ink. This was the bare minimum if he wanted to reach the realm of a Tier 3 conqueror. Even with the tough talk, she saw his hustle. She pulled out a mysterious scarf, offering to reveal just a bit of magic. This was the key to unlocking amplification magic. She dangled the scarf in front of him and asked one final question. "So, do you want the power?" Like he would ever say no. Minhan did not hesitate for a single microsecond. "I will do it. I will do anything to get stronger." Right after meeting Guildmaster Rosaloon, Minhun stormed into the combat simulation room. Time stopped mattering. His clothes were soaked and heavy with sweat, proof of his insane training session. Totally spent, he fired a magic arrow, but the monsters just swatted it away like an annoying fly. He flashed back to the conversation with the guildmaster and that cursed item she handed him, the jean scarf. It was a restraint item that instantly slashed all his stats by 50%. The debuff would only go away if he took it off or it got shredded. Her orders were clear. Analyze the skill formula. Over and over, Minhun was confused. How is this repetitive torture supposed to help with magic amplification? But Rose soon stayed cryptic, hiding the secret behind a smirk and refusing to just give him the easy answer. Back in the sim, the jean scarf felt crushing. His body felt like it was dragging tons of lead. Now he got it. Breaking limits to reach a rank without cheats was a total nightmare. The next morning, Minhun dragged himself to school. With dark circles and a hollow face, he looked less like a student and more like the Walking Dead. Kim Do-young gasped in horror. "You okay?" Minhun just let out a hollow, dead laugh. "I have never been further from okay." His mouth complained, but his body moved. Once theory class ended, he sprinted straight for the training hall. After a week of pure agony, the concept of 4-star magic amplification finally clicked in his head. It was not just a boost, it was a total evolution of the skill. Mastery depended entirely on how good he was. The deeper the knowledge, the deadlier the result. Through endless sweat and reps, his magic arrow finally leveled up. The guildmaster's advice echoed in his head, giving him a warm feeling. He started this for selfish reasons, but now it felt like he had actually found a real mentor. Another day went by. As Minhan walked through campus, a prickle on his neck warned him he was being followed. He lured the rats into a dark alley and stopped cold. "You coming out, or do I have to drag you into the light?" He did not wait. His mana pulse swept the area, forcing the hidden vermin to show themselves instantly. Odin's servants. A crow dove for the kill, but before it could move, Minhun's kick slammed into its gut like a sledgehammer. To think the Acier faction would actually dare to sneak onto the school grounds. This smells like more of Guhol's scheming. Above him, 2 more crows circled, eyes locked on their prey. Minhan's eyes turned cold as steel. "Let me be clear. You picked the wrong target today." Level 2 magic arrows erupted from his hands. In a split second, the beasts were shredded into nothing but falling feathers. But as they fell, a heavy pressure hit. Black feathers rained down from the sky like a funeral march. The one man he was terrified to face this early had actually shown up. His father stood like a mountain, eyes cold and empty. "Long time no see, right?" Minjun did not waste any words. Fury exploded as he lashed out with golden lightning chains to maim. The new attack was blindingly fast, but against this beast, it was like a breeze hitting a cliff. Mungho's hand barely touched his sword. A strike so fast the eye could not even see it move. Minhan moved on instinct, but it was not enough. Blood sprayed the concrete as a blade ripped through his gut. Only then did he even realize he was hit. A massive, terrifying crater split the ground behind him just from the shockwave. Mungho's voice was pure, mocking poison. "I've had my eye on you. You've been getting pretty rowdy lately. Is my boy having a little rebellious phase?" Minhun ground his teeth together. Cut the crap. What kind of father stabs his own kid the second they meet? Shut up. Why are you here? Mung-ho ignored him, his eyes scanning his son like he was checking the specs. In this messed up world, he thought, even a kid of destiny has to have some kind of limit, right? He moved in, the air getting heavy. So, has the Acier resistance reached out to you yet? Minhun started to stutter. What? His hesitation was all the proof needed. Hugin, the crow of thought, was perched right on the father's shoulder. No secret is safe from eyes that can literally read your mind. The talk was over. Mung-ho pulled his sword, a killing blow. Minhun threw up his magic armor, but the shield shattered like cheap glass against that insane crushing power. Effortless strike, brutal damage. Minhun's whole body was just one big scream of agony. Was this really just an A-rank conqueror? No way. This wasn't human strength. This was a god walking among mortals. Shaking, he managed to choke out, "Are you trying to kill me?" Mung-ho just stared. "No, I'm just taking your legs." Like father, like son, both total monsters. Without blinking, the blade sliced through the air for the finish. A wave of dark magic surged toward him. Minhun accepted his death, but fate had other plans at the last second. A black cat appeared, blocking the hit. Mung-ho's eyebrow jumped. He was clearly getting annoyed now. Did the deal between the Acier and the resistance break, or do you actually want to catch hands with Odin himself? The cat hissed, sounding completely disgusted. "I don't know what trash you're talking. Beat it, old man." The beast jumped, instantly turning into a girl with massive horns. Minhun just stood there, surrounded by monsters wearing human faces. Minhun's mind raced while chaos swirled. Mung-ho narrowed his eyes. Planning on making this worse? The girl with horns stayed silent. She slashed her own skin with sharp nails, letting thick black blood drip. The droplets pulsed and exploded into shadowy arms lunging for Minhun-ho's throat. But the servant of Odin wasn't some easy prey to be hunted. He stomped his foot. A massive shockwave of wind blew the shadow arms into nothingness. Minhun-ho stood his ground, sounding totally unimpressed. To think this war of gods now depends on a pathetic mortal. Loki's power was fading out like a dying candle. He sheathed his sword, acting calm, but he was radiating pure lethality. "Cross me one more time," he growled, his voice low and dangerous. "And I won't be nearly as nice next time." "Oh, I'm literally shaking." The girl didn't flinch. Instead, she balled up her fist, looking ready to throw down right now. With a cocky smirk, she threw his own threat back at him. "Bark all you want. Just keep this in mind. If you get in my way, I'll take your head whenever I feel like it. Anytime, anywhere." The deity, hidden as a black cat, vanished. A thin red line appeared on the enemy's throat, a warning cut delivered right before she spoke again. "That ancient treaty only protects the Acier and the resistance. No law stops me from gutting Odin's pet bird right here." Minhun-ho finally realized he was out of his league. Humiliated, he stormed off to nurse his ego. Once the pressure vanished, Minhun's body finally gave out. His legs buckled and he hit the dirt. These titans had just shaken the world while he watched. He was just a bug in a hurricane. Mana poisoning ripped through him, a brutal reminder of how weak he was. The mysterious girl didn't care about his pathetic state. She introduced herself as a friend of Ho. "I am the Observer," she declared, "and I'll guide you through the 5 trials of destiny." The chaos finally ended. Minhun dragged himself back to the dormitory. Gritting his teeth, he used a sacrificial skill, trading vitality to heal his broken body. The black cat girl watched him from the shadows with piercing eyes. "If you have questions," she purred, "now is the time. I'll tell you whatever you want to know." She promised answers. Minhun didn't hesitate. He looked her in the eyes, his voice shaking with suppressed rage. "Minhun-ho, who is he?" He suspected a link to Odin, but the truth was way worse than he imagined. The answer hit him like a punch to the gut. "He isn't your father," she said, cold as ice. "His real name is Hugin. He is one of Odin's eyes. He is the crow of thought. He is a straight-up legend, a mythical beast with the scary power to mess with and control human minds. He swiped the power of memory control from his brother, Minhun. For years, he lurked nearby, faking the loving father act just to stalk your every move. To track the enemy the prophecy warned about and prove her right, she dove into his brain. His mental lock snapped. Minhun got dragged back into the cold, dark shadows of his own history. He recalled the day his mana woke up. It was a total nightmare of non-stop beatings and nasty insults. Then the vision shifted to something way more painful, a soul-crushing memory of a funeral altar and a picture of a man. Looking at it, the haze cleared. He finally remembered the truth he lost. He saw his real father, a guy with a kind smile. He felt the vibe of a real family, back when being happy was actually real. The floodgates opened. Every stolen memory and locked moment rushed back in a wave of pure, raw pain. He hit the floor, crying his eyes out. "Why?" he yelled. "Why wreck my family like this?" The cat girl saw his grief and started telling the story of the old world. 10,000 years ago, the first apocalypse hit. It was Ragnarok, the end of the gods. The resistance fought like hell against the Acier to stop the slaughter, but in the end, they got crushed under the boots of the Acier and Vanir armies. The war ended in blood and total silence. Odin let the survivors live, but it cost them everything. He trapped them in a brutal treaty as prisoners of war. Since then, every living thing in the realms has been miserable under the weight of his absolute tyranny. But the Norns, the Fate Weavers, made one last prophecy. 10,000 years after the second genocide, the weakest creature rises. They would wreck Odin, smash Asgard, and build a new world. She pointed a sharp claw at him. That creature is you. Everything clicked. Minhun realized he was just a weapon being sharpened to murder a god. Meanwhile, the one-eyed king wants to eat the world tree and take Earth. Odin has already flattened 4 worlds. He won't quit until the second apocalypse gives him control over everything else. A question burned in Minhun's brain. If Odin is so powerful, he asked, why am I still alive? Why hasn't he killed me already? The prophecy is your shield, she answered. It is a force of destiny so absolute and terrifying that even the God King cannot defy it. But heads up, when the second apocalypse kicks off, fate's rules break, and you're going to get killed again. Minhun finally got how heavy his life was. He was just a puppet dancing on holy strings. They killed his family, messed with his head, and threw him away all because some prophecy scared them. The catgirl saw the pure rage burning in his eyes. Do you want revenge? She whispered. You want to protect what's left? I am your guide. I will give you the power to rise from the ashes and slaughter that one-eyed king. Ding! The system popped up. New quest accepted. The Godslayer. 3 S-rank trials left to go. She spoke. Survive these, and you'll get the blessing you need to survive a god's temper. She started to vanish, leaving one last order. Get strong, Minhun. Be stronger than everyone or get eaten alive. Meanwhile, back at the academy, Principal Gujane was planning a bloodbath. He talked on the phone with total malice. Don't worry. Once the trashy, low-rank students are gone, all the resources will go straight to the elite. A creepy smile crossed his face. I assume you can handle the politics. The congressman, though, hesitated, looking totally conflicted. He wanted no part of this crazy plan, knowing the National Punishment Bureau would eventually track them down. But getting away from the nasty GAN was never actually an option. The principal was pure evil. He told Gain that all the prep work was done. During the next guild trials, he would personally rip open a dimensional gate. Just the thought of it made his partner shake like a leaf. Ga moved fast, promising to send the state funds to Miss exactly as they had conspired. Outside the door, and Ho Yan froze. Fate put him right there to overhear every sick part of their plot. Putting it together with Minhun's old warnings, the truth slammed into him like a semi-truck. The creep who hijacked his brain and controlled him that day was none other than the principal. Ho Yan was boiling with rage, wanting to bust in and expose the villain, but he stopped himself. Fighting a monster now would mean a funeral instead of a win. One slip-up, and he'd be inhaling incense at his own funeral. He needed some backup. He needed friends he could trust with his life. As Minhun's squad finished class, their phones buzzed with an emergency alert. It was Ho Yan. Get to Lee Jae-sang's workshop now. The Round Alliance grouped up immediately. Ho Yan spilled the tea, exposing the rot hidden under the academy. Kim Doyen turned white as a ghost, totally unable to process it. He needed a double take. Principal Gay is literally trying to delete low rankers just to thin out the herd. He is hijacking the guild event just to give those reawakened elites a head start. The whole room lost it, everyone cussing out that monster in a designer suit. Only Minhun stayed quiet, gears turning. This guild trip was turning out way more psycho than he expected. In his first life, he only heard whispers about students dying in an accident. Now, he finally saw the ugly truth. They were the only squad left to stop the slaughter. Kim Doyen slammed the table. Is this really the time to be overthinking it? Real lives are on the line. Our friends are walking into a literal meat grinder. Lee Jae-song threw a hand up, and Yina Na backed him up instantly. At first, Minhun hesitated, but seeing their fire, he locked in. Right on cue, the system pinged. A main quest popped up to make things spicy. The goal? Crush Gay's plan and save the students. The prize? A legendary blank card and a sealed spellbook. If they fail, everyone dies. Simple. But once Minhun spotted that blank card, his eyes gleamed. He was totally all in. He stood up, giving off major main character energy, and made the call. Let us build a plan. A plan to end that jerk Gay forever. To pull this off, Minhun locked onto his first target. Instructor Dong-Su, you finally mastered that 4-star grimoire, right? You expect me to buy that? No way, she scoffed. Minhun narrowed his eyes, sounding cold as ice. Why is it impossible? One simple question, and she shut up. Deep down, Dong-Su was low-key terrified of him. She knew the principal saw him as a pawn to be taken. But Minhun was not some helpless victim. A creepy smile spread across his face as he hit her where it hurt. Are you not planning to rob everyone and hand it to that trash Gay again? Takes a thief to catch one. Totally exposed, Dongsu shrieked in a panic. How on earth do you know about that? Before she could move, Minhun grabbed her forehead. A creepy power surged out, completely hijacking all of her senses. He started digging into the darkest corners of her brain. I have questions, and you are going to listen. Perfect time to drop a brainwashing skill. He literally rewrote her reality. For the next few days, she would be his personal inside double agent. He ordered her to leak every single detail of Gay's plot for the guild trials until he knew everything. Next day, a squad of students followed their guide to a location the principal picked out himself. One clueless kid bragged that the principal finally recognized his genius-level talent. Suddenly, a girl grabbed his arm, looking totally stressed. Seo-jun, wait, does this place not feel super sketchy to you? Seeing him confused, she pointed at the rotting walls. Think about it. A pro guild should be packed with gear, but this dump looks like it has been abandoned for decades. Seo-jun felt a cold chill hit his spine. Before he could move, their guide showed his true self. It was actually their instructor, Kim Sok-ji. His face twisted into a nasty sneer. Wow, I did not expect that disguise to wear off so fast. He shrugged. Whatever. It is a little early, but this is where we part ways, kids. Any last words? Suddenly, a glowing magic circle exploded under them. The prey walked right into the spiderweb. Getting out was not an option anymore. Kim Suji glared at them, her face a mask of pure hate that matched her master's cruelty perfectly. Take this as your final lesson, she sneered. But in this nightmare, surviving was anything but a sure thing. Meanwhile, outside that creepy building, Minhun and the squad finally tracked down the exact coordinates. As the group huddled up, wondering if this was the spot, Minhun's voice rang in their heads, a crystal-clear telepathic link. You followed us, huh? Naturally. Did you ever doubt me? The answer came back instantly. Hey, Ji-hoon, since when did you master telepathy? Hiding in the shadows behind them, Manager Park watched silently, his presence totally erased. Flashback. Manager Park reported every single detail to Guildmaster Jo Sunun before heading out. But the second he left, a terrifying thought hit her. There was a dark, nasty energy lingering nearby. Minhun's warning echoed in her mind. The guild secretly owned by Principal Gay was actually the Cain Guild. Cain, a guild placed perfectly between Sol and Lotus. If they made a scene, Gay himself would be ruined by the scandal. Jo Sunun's eyes narrowed as she processed all that intel. She looked at Secretary Hannah, her voice sounding low and dangerous. Is the background check on the Cain Guild done? Yes, ma'am, Hannah replied fast, looking grim. The rumors were legit. It is a ghost guild, just a shell organization, built for tax dodging, money laundering, and way darker crimes. Looks like Gujane set this whole scam up just for this corruption. Jo Seong-yoon looked terrified, but she didn't blink. Grab my gear now. She bolted out the door, dead set on saving them before everything went south. Back at the wreck, the vibe was heavy. Kim Down-yun cut a look at his buddy, looking totally unconvinced. You sure this is the place? Minhun just gave a sharp nod. 100%. I smell it nasty magic leaking out of the walls. The crew went quiet, trusting his gut on this. They barely stepped into the dark before the air turned sour. Hold up, so Ina whispered, stopping cold. I feel magic leftovers. Minhun knelt down to check the floor. Spot on, top-tier traps. And someone just tripped them. His eyes popped as it finally clicked. Crap. We missed it. Life really hates us today. The whole squad was standing right in the middle of a trap. Boom. A giant glowing circle lit up under them, pinning them down. Everyone started freaking out when a voice mocked them from nowhere. Welcome, losers, to the Dark Elf Kingdom. Svartheim. Ding. The screen flashed bright red. Alert. User is currently being teleported to Svartheim. Warning. Get out of the dungeon now. The warning blinked like a timer to the grave. Svartheim, the home of the Spartle and the Dark Elf Hive. Minhun felt his blood turn to ice. Norse myths say these things were strong enough to brawl with gods. Sure, as dungeon mobs, they aren't quite that divine anymore. They weren't literal gods, but with Guja playing Puppet Master, all the rules just flew out the window. Things just got way deadlier. Unhoyan shook as he whispered, Principal Guja can actually use high-level warp magic. What kind of monster is he? Right then, someone stepped out of the dark. Manager Park finally showed his face. He looked at the scared kids. Minhun brought me along as a backup plan, he said darkly. But this mess is way worse than I expected. Usually, seeing him was a relief. But not this time. Even with a pro manager, their chances sucked. He didn't lie to them. This is the Dark Elf realm, Park said, reaching for his sword. Even an A-rank hunter would struggle to survive 5 minutes in a place like this. Blink and you're dead. Everyone started losing hope, but Minhun stepped up, his voice loud enough to kill the panic. We are not checking out today, he shouted, looking totally determined. I promise, I am getting us all home. The dungeon felt like a giant black hole. The only light came from these creepy glowing stones stuck in the walls. Seoa went to cast a light spell, but Minhun grabbed her arm. No, don't do that. Instead, he whipped up some tiny dim light orbs and tossed them up into the air. They drifted like ghosts, bright enough to see but too dim to attract monsters. Hours crawled by in the heavy quiet. Manager Park signaled to stop. "We need a break. We've been walking forever." Minhun killed the lights right away. Total darkness again. His buddy whispered, "Yo, why the lights out? Dark elves basically live for the night." Minhun whispered back, super quiet. "Light makes us targets. If we want to live, we have to own the dark." It made sense. Nobody talked back. They stayed quiet, swallowing pills from Lee Jae-sang to deal with the insane magic pressure. But Minhun's brain was on fire. He had no time to waste. He flipped on his magic radar, checking the map. Bingo. A path leading right to the boss. He started to speak, but his gut screamed. Whoosh! A spear ripped through the dark out of nowhere. In a blink, Minhun's hand was a blur. Snap. He caught the spear inches from Seo's heart. Game on. The crew jumped into action, weapons out. Suddenly, hundreds of glowing eyes lit up in the blackness. They were boxed in. No way out. Dark elves. Minhun growled. He snapped the spear in his fist, his power exploding. "You want some? Come get some." These guys weren't easy targets. They were all high-tier fighters. Everyone let loose their special moves, smashing into the monsters with everything they had. Seo hit the elves with a frost aura to slow them down. Then, with a bright flash, she pulled out her blade, ready to get up close and personal. Minhun popped his ultimate, making a massive shield for the back. Parkson saw his shot and disappeared into the fight. His daggers were a blur through the crowd. In a squad this stacked, Minhun wasn't about to be outplayed. He sparked a high-level skill, lightning chains. A magic circle popped up, looking as thick and messy as a spider web. Electricity chains sparked out of the void, shredding the enemies with insane precision. First wave, total success. Minhun yelled orders over the sound of the chaos. "Yo, listen up. Kim and Seoana, switch to fire magic right now." He parried a cheap shot and then kept yelling orders. "And Hoon, use your taunt to keep them in line." Manager Park, easy job. Take out every dark elf busy dealing with Hoon's aggro. No one knew how he figured out their weakness, but his aura commanded total respect. They followed him without question. Park's sun went full ghost mode, vanishing from sight. What came next was a straight-up symphony of death. One swing, one kill. Total efficiency. But Minhun, he was on a whole nother level of crazy. Dude is a mage, but fights like a street brawler. He dropped a fire palm from his old warrior days. Just crushing skulls left and right. The whole place turned into a smoky hellscape smelling like burnt meat. Seeing his boys get fried, a dark elf freaked out. How? How do these trash humans know our weak spot? Before he could blink, Hoon's blade went through his chest. Minhun didn't stop for a second. He dropped a lightning chain next, dusting the monster in an instant. Minhun's genius tactics and the crew's teamwork meant they wiped the elves without taking a hit. But no breaks yet. "Move out. We are racing against time here." He felt a weak vibe from some survivors down the left. Every wasted second brings them closer to the grave. "How did you screw up something this simple?" Gaia hissed. Kim Sukji shook like a leaf. "My bad, sir. I didn't think anyone would break into the guild hall. We can hide a few deaths from a gate opening," Gaia sneered. "I'm not scared of strong enemies. I'm scared of stupid allies." Gaia was fuming as he stared at the idiot. Bam! He slammed the table. His spiritual pressure alone made Kim Sukji spit out blood. But the torture was just getting started. Gaia's voice dropped to a scary whisper. "Pray this goes well. Because if even one student survives, you know the price of failing me, Instructor Kim." Deep in the dungeon's abyss, a girl dragged a boy through the pitch dark. Her legs gave out, and they both collapsed in a heap of misery. Right as she accepted they were dead meat, Minhun's team burst in. Potions were handed out, and they started feeling better. Once they could talk, Minhun got straight to it. What happened? The survivors told him about the nightmare. As soon as they fell, dark elves jumped them. Everyone got caught. They were the only ones lucky enough to escape. But escaping wasn't easy. A mana overload knocked the boy out cold. The girl just looked down. She was blushing from shame. Minhun saw the guilt. She felt bad for running, but he didn't judge her. Beating a high-level monster? That's movie stuff. In the real world, you just die. He gave her a quick nod before talking business. "Where did they take the others?" The girl answered right away. "Some leader is running the dark elves. They dragged everyone to his lair. First answer down. Now for number 2. Who sent you?" The guy, Jang, gritted his teeth. It was Principal Guyan. He's the one behind this whole nightmare. Everything clicked. Minhun looked at his squad. "I can feel the monster's energy from here. This path leads right to their nest. I'm going in solo to get those students out." Everyone started arguing. The girls hated it, but the guys knew the truth. Their power levels were way too low. They just hold Minhun back. Even worse, they'd all end up dead. Manager Park gave a heavy sigh. "Fine, but if it gets sketchy, get out of there." Minhun stepped up, grabbing his shield. "Don't worry about us. Just go. I'll guard these survivors with my life." Minhun was barely gone before Manager Park signaled for quiet. The enemy was right on top of them. Before he could even shout a warning, blood sprayed everywhere from Park's left shoulder. He fell over, weak, as a gross monster stepped out of the dark with his crew. I wondered where you pests were. The monster sneered, looking down at them. To think, it's just a bunch of puny humans. Meanwhile, Minhun stood before a giant gate covered in weird ancient carvings. He had a really bad feeling in his gut about leaving his crew alone. But the boss was right inside, and he needed to end this nightmare fast. He shoved the heavy doors open, and the dude on the throne spoke up first. So, you're finally here. Heard we were having guests, so I set up a killer reception. Right then, the earring Minhun wore linked to his crew started flashing a bright red warning. Using the artifact, he felt Manager Park's soul slipping away into the dark abyss, but the nightmare wasn't over. Giant doors slammed shut, trapping him inside as dark elves crawled out of the shadows. The boss made it clear there was no way out. Minhun had to butcher every single one of them to escape. The beast just stood there, staring him down with pure, ugly attitude. What are you gonna do now? The monster smirked. Big mistake. Huge. Dude actually tried to bait the main character. A circle of hellfire exploded around Minhun. He looked back at the beast like it was nothing. Listen up. Minhun's voice sounded like a winter storm. None of you clowns are getting out of here alive. Feeling his friends in danger, he snapped. He covered his chains in a glowing red coat of hellfire. He smashed everything in sight. Huge explosions shook the room, but the enemy wave just kept on coming. Minhun glared at the crowd, his eyes full of hate. Then he dropped the final verdict. I am gonna make you puke up every single thing you ever ate. Outside, the rest of the squad got ready for a total bloodbath. The head monster talked trash one last time before his goons finally charged. An assassin tried to shank Hoon with a poisoned spear, but the tank jumped in to take the hit. Ian blocked it with his shield and swung back hard, but this guy was on a whole nother level. He dodged it like it was nothing. Hoon realized these creeps were way tougher than the trash mobs they fought earlier. He looked the leader in the eye. What the hell are you? The one beast with a sword squared up. I am Ken, the creature answered, sounding totally stuck up. Royal Guard Captain, protector of the Dark Elf King, and a noble. In that second, Hoenn flashed back to the day he met Minhun. To Hoon, Minhun was the guy who gave him his spark back as an awakener. He was not dying while Minhun was still out there swinging. Cornered, Anho did something totally insane. He just dropped his shield on the ground, blowing everyone's minds. Ignoring Kim Rojong's desperate cries, he muttered that he should have done this from the start. A massive torrent of mana surged through his body. As Hoenn grabbed his sword with both hands, an insane amount of energy burst from him. The monsters who were just laughing were now frozen in total fear. Even Ken lost his cool and started shaking. What kind of crazy monster mana is this? The reason for Hoyenn's sudden power-up was simple. He popped his ultimate skill, Union of Man and Sword. Hoon mashed his teeth together as blood leaked from his mouth. His body was breaking. He coughed up a spray of blood while Anna screamed. Warning, skill level is way too high for this user. Internal systems are crashing. Warning, shut down the skill right now. Ignore this and you die in 6 minutes and 36 seconds. The system spammed Hoon with red alerts, but Ken had seen enough. He sent his elite guards in. Chop off his legs if you must, but I want him alive. Hyun stood firm, swinging back with a nasty strike while blood dripped from his face. He scored an S-rank skill in training, but his body was just too weak to handle it. Union of Man and Sword. It is a legendary state where you reach the peak of fighting and the blade becomes your soul. Hyun fought for every breath, burning his soul before he hit the wall. The enemy's name was Ken. With this shaky new power, Hoenn knew he could not win. All he could do was stall for time. But if his death could change the game even slightly, Hoon was down to fight to the end for the honor of a hero. Your little struggle is hilarious, Ken laughed, seeing right through him. You thought I would not notice your body falling apart? Ken looked at him like trash. But Hoon only had one goal. Keep the promise. It had to be him, no one else. Even while dying, Hoon actually smiled. This beast would never get why he was sacrificing everything. With fire in his eyes, the young fighter swung his sword. He charged so fast he tore through the wind. Ken just wore a nasty, twisted smirk. He sidestepped with scary grace, dodged the blade, and aimed his own sword right at the back of Hoon's neck. Hyun's reflexes went wild. He spun, blocked a desperate hit, and then scrambled back as fast as possible. Ha, you're trash. Ken talks a lot of smack, but Hoon's only focused on freezing this clown solid. The kid doesn't say a word, he just keeps swinging. Their blades clash with a sound like straight-up thunder. Even Ken's feeling the pressure from that hit, but Hoon is definitely not out of the woods. Jagged lightning surges through his entire body, making him sweat under the insane, crushing pressure. System warning. The user's physical body is actually starting to disintegrate. Danger level critical. Deactivate immediately. Skill activated. Every muscle fiber screams in total paralysis. His blood flow literally grinds to a complete halt. Hoon's wide open, and Ken's not missing the chance. He strikes hard. All Hoon can do is watch as he's launched skyward. He's hit the wall, his body's done. Knowing it's game over, the kid stops blocking and goes all in. No looking back now. It's a suicide charge. Ho-Eon pours every ounce of life he has left into one final massive hit. His eyes glow with pure mana. He jumps high, bringing his sword down to trigger a massive, world-shaking explosion. Elf blood sprays everywhere, but it's only from one of the low-level minions. As the girl gets ripped open, she never realizes her own boss is hiding behind her, using her like a human shield. Is he a monster or just pure evil? Ken sneers. Don't sweat it, you were actually a pretty decent shield. Ken just laughs while his loyal soldier turns to dust. This guy is the ultimate coward. Hone hacks up blood. Before he can even swear, Ken shoves a sword right through his chest. It's a harsh lesson. Don't waste your breath talking about justice to people with zero honor. Back in the boss room, Jae-Hun's hell chains start to stir. Nearby, 3 blood-soaked bodies are trapped in a cage. Remembering his 10-minute promise to Hone, Jae-Hun's eyes snap open. The flames around him roar back to life. The second his eyes hit the dark, Jae-Hun's fire burns every dark elf in sight to a crisp. You idiot. You really think you can beat these odds? The Elf King just smirks with total, arrogant contempt. Dark elves swarm like ants all over Jae-Hun. He doesn't even care. His voice is ice cold. Why not? For a worthless human, you've got a lot of ego. Tell me, who's the worthless one now? That hits home. It rips right through Jae-Hun's ego, dragging up every insult he's dealt with since he was a kid. His pride is hurt, but his anger is through the roof. He's totally done with hearing that garbage. A massive wave of energy explodes from him. The Elf King flinches, screaming for his minions to jump the human right now. Skill activated. Hell prison chains. Dozens of heavy iron chains covered in red fire suddenly erupt all around Jae-Hun. He lunges forward, landing a fire-wrapped punch directly into the face of the closest enemy. I've been itching to try this new skill. Thanks for being the perfect target practice. Much appreciated. The Dark Elf King is paralyzed, standing there frozen in place like a damn statue. He watches in horror as his people are swallowed by the inferno, turning to ash. You bastard. Do you think I'll let you live after this? The king yells his threats, but Ji-Hyun just stops and looks over at the iron cages. Are you for real right now? His god's eye flashes gold. Jae-Hun walks up to the king, who's just pointing a shaking finger. The king still doesn't get it. How can a basic human have this much insane power? He knows he can't win. You'll regret this. Even if I die, the 7 kings will find you. But Jae-Hun's face is totally blank. Does he look like he gives a damn? Jae-Hun's a blur. He closes the gap instantly and lands a massive punch on the king's face, setting off an explosion. If they're mad, tell him to come find me. Meanwhile, back at Hone's fight, the ground is soaked in blood. Ina's standing there frozen, totally hopeless. She's cursing herself for being so useless right now. She couldn't even see the fight, let alone help. Now her friend's down. She hates how weak she is for losing another teammate. Now she's the last one left. Ken reaches out, ready to crush the life right out of Ina's throat. You'll be a tasty dessert. Voices are calling her, but Ina's frozen. She's not ready to die. She doesn't want to lose. Suddenly, a light drops from the sky, flowing hair, a shadow, and mana pressure that literally crushes the air. Did you seriously touch them? Guildmaster Yuang-Woo has arrived, looking legendary in her shiny armor. You'd better think very carefully before you speak. Give the wrong answer and you're dead. The second the Guildmaster shows up, Hoon feels instantly relieved. He's still breathing. As for Ken, the cockiness is wiped from his face, his mouth shut in terror. Yuang-Woo's voice drops to 0 degrees. He demands to know if Ken is responsible for his broken guild members. Cold sweat practically drowns the villain. With Manager Park and Ho Yen lying broken on the ground, denial is impossible. Ken knows he can't beat this monstrous mana, but a rat always has a dirty move. He plans to grab Kim Do-young and use weak students as human shields. With a twisted grin, he owns the crime, so what if I did? I never planned to fight a monster like you fairly. Sunun triggers her ultimate move, Sacrifice. A wave of healing energy explodes, fixing everyone's wounds at the terrifying cost of her own life force. Kane's eyes nearly pop out of his skull. How could a human heal at godlike speeds? Sunun just glares. A real healer never leaves the wounded, not even an enemy. But for him, she will make a glorious exception. I hate it when trash touches my people. Ignoring Kane's pathetic begging, she drops a single devastating strike. He vanishes into nothingness instantly. Guildmaster Kim Yu-jang freezes. That wasn't a skill, it was just pure mana. That simple burst was enough to wipe out a monster like Kane. Priorities, Sunun mutters, turning from the dust. I need to save these two first. She is already kneeling beside Manager Park. Someone rushed over, voice trembling. How is he? Is he okay? The manager is stable, Sunun says instantly. But Ho Yen is in critical condition. These wounds are a disaster. The kid pushed way past his limits. His body is paying for using power he can't handle. His mana circuits are in absolute chaos. Every nerve on his magic core is shredded and burnt. 1 minute later, and he would have been gone forever. As she seals his wounds, the system hits her. 2% of her max life force, gone forever. She lets out a heavy sigh. That skill is a nightmare. If Jae-hun hadn't saved her, she'd be toast. Will the kid live? Yu-jang asks the scary question. Obviously, Soon-un says with total confidence, "Who do you think I am?" But he won't wake up for days. Wait, where is Jae-hun? The group goes silent. Finally, someone whispers, "He went to the boss room all alone." The silver-haired youth answers reluctantly. Soon-un pauses for a heartbeat, then a smirk hits her lips. Don't sweat it, that guy is fine. Yu-jang isn't so sure. He went solo to slay the boss. How can anyone be sure he lived? Jae-hun is harder to kill than a cockroach. Those dark elves rely on magic, and against him, they don't stand a chance. The dark elf king is coughing up blood, getting absolutely wrecked. Jae-hun stands over him, grinning like a predator. If you're mad, find me in the afterlife, Jae-hun taunts. That is, if you even make it out alive. It was a rhetorical question. With a chest full of holes, the king was already a walking corpse. The elf king is humiliated. Falling to a mere human is absolutely unacceptable. He has to warn his people before the end. He gathers his last strength to run. But Jae-hun isn't merciful. In a blur, he leaps and slams the king's face into the dirt. Going somewhere? Jae-hun whispers coldly. You think I'll let you die alone? No, I'm dragging you to hell myself. He has one last trick. The forbidden art of the Dark Elves, glacial domain. Now the human feels fear. He'll show this brat the gates of the underworld, a parting gift of frozen death. But Jae-hun doesn't flinch. He laughs. The king stares in horror. Perfect timing, the human chuckles. I didn't think I'd test this out so soon. He pulls out a blank card. The system pings instantly. Do you want to copy the skill Glacial Domain? Hell yes, he grins. The S-rank skill is sealed into the card instantly. Jae-hun triggers absolute calculation and shatters the enemy magic. The deadly ice turns into harmless snow. The Elf King goes pale with despair. Impossible. How? Jae-hun grabs the king's hair, lifting his head. Ever heard the saying? Know your enemy and you win every single time. Flames erupt from his hand, burning the king from the skull down. System flash. You defeated the king. Legendary achievement unlocked. New title acquired. Slayer of the Dark King. Jae-hun stares at the ashes. We aren't even in the same league. His face is cold as stone. The loot starts rolling in. Received Dark Elf King's essence. Received spiked armor of the Sovereign. Mission complete. Round 2. Rewards. 1 blank card. Sealed ancient scripture. Active skill. Magic tool materialization. Generous jerk, Jae-hun grumbled. The loot was god tier, but he didn't have a second to waste, staring. He bolted for the iron cages. Everything went cold. His squad was gone. Only one was still hanging on. No hesitation. He triggered sacrifice to save the survivor. Light blinded him, then a warm hand grabbed his own. It was her. She survived. Man, being a healer is a total nightmare sometimes. You're happy when no one gets hurt, but even happier dragging a soul back from the edge. Her eyes were shimmering with pure emotion. Together they dumped their mana into the last student. A massive pillar of light blew out the whole room. Back in his fancy sedan, Kim Suji was losing it. His little plan just tanked. Survive the dungeon? Doesn't matter. You're all gonna die screaming, he hissed. Then, a massive shadow fell over him. Jae-hun was right there outside the window, staring into his soul. That glass couldn't hide the pure murder in his eyes. So it was you, huh? You absolute trash. 1 hour before all this went down. At the entrance, the silver-haired kid bowed to Master Kim and Park. Since you're so grateful, Kim smirked. Swing by the guild later. Sunung-woo is so hyped, he's actually inviting these young students back to his place. Come over. We can trash the place if you want. Let's go right now. Yoo-jun's eyes basically glow as she says yes instantly, but June shuts it down, telling her to show some class and dignity. Who would have expected a direct kick to the kneecap in response? Now she's ordered to keep her mouth shut all day. June just rolls her eyes at the total chaos. For a low-spec fighter, that kick had some serious juice. Suddenly, a car comes screeching onto the scene. The car barely stops before Hannah jumps out, scanning the area like crazy. She sprints over to see if Sunwoo is actually hurt. She had driven here like a maniac after losing touch for hours. Sunung-woo waves it off, promising the full story later. Right now, he needs the injured and students moved out fast. Meanwhile, Sunung-woo and June have to stay. They've still got business to handle. Hannah sighs but takes the order. She looks at her brother. Let's move, Manager Park. No dragging your feet. She goes after him immediately. Jae-hun suddenly remembers Manager Park has an injured arm and starts to ask about it. Manager Park uses telepathy, fast. He begs Jae-hyun to stay quiet about the injury. Using mana while hurt is risky, but his sister's rage is a fate worse than death. Hannah's patience is gone. Stand there like a statue if you want, but you're walking all the way home. With a little sister acting like a guard dog, the 12-year veteran brother just ducks his head and follows. Sunung-woo gives one last order for Hannah to take care of the kids. She nods and loads them up, driving off. Once the car is gone, Jun turns to Sunung-woo. He points out a presence watching them with total rage and malice. It is none other than Kim Suk-jin. Cold sweat pours down his face the second he sees Woo. He isn't going down easy, instantly flashing backward to create some distance. But he isn't just running. Using a magic artifact from Director Lee, he's actually prepping a massive counterattack. He blinks behind Sunung-woo for a sneak attack. But catching this monster is impossible. Sunung-woo just leans back while the strike hits thin air. Does that toy help you teleport? He scoffs. It's not even that cool. He breaks down the mechanics of the trick in a split second. It only moves you a few dozen meters. If you had used it to run earlier, you might have lived. Little do they know, the mastermind Gwajin is watching every second of this fight through unknown means. Sunung-woo wants answers. Why try to kill students? Who is actually pulling your strings? But the traitor stays silent, dumping all his power into one last attack. Sunung-woo's eyes go cold. He knows that device in his hand instantly, a Mon impression tool. Behind the screen, Gwajin sneers that this pawn is finally useless. Kim Suk-jin looks at the beast before him with a panicked, sarcastic little grin. You think a toy like that can stop me? Everything finally clicks for Sunung-woo. That's why I felt no seal earlier, but man, you're a fool. Talk or don't, I don't care. I already know Gwajin is the one behind all of this. I never expected a dog like you to bark, so why even bother charging that thing up? Crack spiderweb across the sphere in Kim Suk-jin's hand. Magic tools, they are totally volatile. Redlining your mana is a suicide pact. He is choosing death right now. Sunung-woo's patience snaps, replaced by pure ice. He drops a technique with world-ending power. The sky goes pitch black instantly. Golden lightning snakes through the clouds. A massive storm swirls right over Kim Sojin's head. The heavens are screaming. A massive bolt deletes the target, forcing a permanent log out from life itself. It is Thunderfall, an A-rank lightning magic skill. Usually, spell strength depends on the rank. But in the hands of this absolute monster, the laws of power are rewritten. On paper, it is the same tier as Jun's light chain, but the raw destruction is on a whole different level. Save for now, a student named Ina gets hit with a different lightning lovesickness. Remembering the badass name of the move Sun Woo used makes her face turn bright red. She realized he reversed the entire magic flow in a literal heartbeat. She knows she is still a rookie, but her heart is pounding at his insane talent. I will have to thank him later, she promises herself. The very next morning, a swarm of reporters hits the MS Academy. They are hounding Director Guja for answers about the incident, but the media wave hits a brick wall of magic. The school's reputation is tanking hard. Word is, you built a guild just to take out students, sir. Assistant Dong-soo reports like a machine. Guja slams his desk. His face is a mask of pure rage. How did this mess get so out of hand? Dong-soo keeps going without mercy. Reporters are camping at the gates and the investors are blowing up the phones demanding answers. Guja loses it. Lock down the academy. Shut down all interviews right now. Dong-soo bows and sprints to get it done. Guja grinds his teeth. There is a traitor in MS Academy. It is not Sukjin. That idiot is already dead. He grabs his phone. Someone is going to bleed for this disrespect, but first, he has got to shut up those media dogs. Inside the gates, Sunwoo walks up to a student. He taps Hoon, who nearly jumps out of his skin. Hoon stammers out his thanks for saving his life. Sunwoo just stares him down with an intense look. Why did you do it? Hoon just freezes up with a nervous smile. Sunwoo finally relaxes a bit. Keep that fire, he says, telling the kid to just keep grinding. Figure out the why later. Just trust your gut. Even if I told you to stop, you would do whatever you wanted anyway, right? With that, the guy waved and headed to class. But at the corner, he suddenly stopped short. He looked back and yelled a final warning. Watch your back, man. Don't worry us. Hoon gripped his fist, feeling the fire inside. He thought about his future, a big grin hitting his face as he looked at the bright sky. Meanwhile, our hero was checking his loot. He earned a new title, Slayer of the Black Demon King. Rank A. Plus 30 to mana and a 10% power boost when fighting dark attribute monsters. But there is a catch. Using this title taunts every dark creature nearby into a total frenzy. He is officially target number 1. A double-edged sword. Definitely a rare effect. He had been buried in work cleaning up the guild mess, so this was his first real chance to inspect the loot. He felt bad for waiting so long. Next was the essence of the Black Demon King. Rank A+. A powerful potion that permanently boosts your mana stats when you drink it. Then the gear. The Ring of the Black Demon King. Rank S plus 25 strength, 25 mana, and 1500 stamina. Absolute god tier. With these stats, running out of juice or mana is a thing of the past. As for that essence, he decided to save it for Jang. Imagining the blacksmith's face over these rare materials made him smile. The final prize was a skill book, an active skill, magical artifact visualization, level 1. This lets him summon armor instantly in a fight by burning through mana. The higher the skill level, the tougher the gear. However, these magical artifacts vanish once his mana supply cuts off and the rank is random. If the rank is too high, it automatically downgrades to match the user's level. Time to test this thing out. In a flash, a sharp dagger appeared in his hand. Holy crap, this is perfect. It is not about the name, it is about how useful it is. On the black market, a rank C armor piece could easily pull 10 million won. Basically, every single time he cast this, he was generating a fortune in seconds while spinning that dagger and admiring his new toy. Suddenly, the whole thing started to glow. The legendary item, Mistlane, was resonating. System alert. You have met all conditions to unlock the true potential of Mistlane. You have acquired a passive skill, Mechanical Genius. The dagger instantly morphed into a shimmering, badass blade. From this moment on, every item the user crafts will automatically receive a major rank upgrade. You have got to be kidding me. This luck was straight up insane. Finally, Jae-hun understood the bracelet's true power. He used to wonder why it was even classified as a weapon, but now the truth was crystal clear. When fate hands you a feast on a silver platter, you don't say no. Time to hit the training grounds. Wasting this would be a crime. Then reality hit the next morning. The hellish exam review period had officially begun. Academy exams were legendary for their brutality. It was a total graveyard for students, famous for fierce competition and difficulty levels that crushed souls. The assessment was split into two battlefields, written theory and the physical practical exams. Theory was your standard paper nightmare. The practical involved brewing potions and a full-scale dungeon raid. The whole event would be broadcast nationwide. But right now, Hyun was facing a much more immediate threat, getting his butt kicked by Kim Yoo-jang for sleeping. He barely had time to wipe the drool before scratching his head in apology. He had dozed off right in the middle of taking notes. Oh, really? Do you realize midterms are just days away? If you fail now, you will be so traumatized that reading a single line of text will make your brain short-circuit. Yoo-jang's voice thundered across the library. Aina buried her face in her book, wishing she could activate a stealth skill and just vanish. June watched the chaos with a pained smile. It was hopeless. One blank sheet and one chaotic mess. These two were absolute disasters when it came to theory. Jae-hyun suggested the study group, thinking their growth would benefit the whole squad. He never imagined it would turn into this nightmare. He was doomed. Hyun was already tearing up. See you in remedial class, he whimpered. Anna looked like a ghost. Yoo-jang slammed her ruler onto the desk, entering full dark teacher mode. You two done whining? Sit up straight. The next two subjects are wavelength, comprehension, and predator mindset. Jae-hyun stared at the ceiling, letting out a heavy sigh. Smashing his foot with a rock would be less painful than this. A few days later, students stumbled out of the exam hall, their eyes totally glazed over. The test was so hard they almost cursed the school's ancestors, but 2 seconds later, their eyes popped to admire the view. The top scorers of the rookie hunt had arrived. Aina, Yu, Jang, and Minhun walked together as the rookie hunt valedictorians. The crowd could only sigh in awe. Birds of a feather truly do flock together. Jihan was part of this elite F4 lineup too. Everyone assumed they crushed the exam. While the crowd seethed with jealousy, Minhun sighed. Being envied was better than being hated, he figured. Yoo-jang turned to Ina. How did you do? The girl looked like her soul had ascended to the afterlife. Her face was blue, eyes rolling back to say goodbye. Yoo-jang sighed helplessly. They had tried their best. The problem definitely wasn't a lack of effort. The problem was that Ina and Hoon simply weren't born for academic life. Minhun was so bored, his words dripped with venom. Meanwhile, Aina overheard the cruel whispers coming from her classmates. Heartbroken, she ran to her mother, confessing she heard every stinging word. If you heard them, so be it, her mother said. Just focus on your studies. It was a harsh truth. Where there is admiration, jealousy follows like a shadow. Some people simply find your existence an eyesore. Case in point, this guy right here, grinding his teeth. He swore a blood oath to crush Lee Jun once and for all. His friend just facepalmed. Lee Jun always wins. Stay away from him, unless you want me dragging your corpse home later. But even top-tier geniuses have weaknesses. Boom. Yoo-jang's face was covered in soot as her experiment completely exploded. Lee Jun laughed until his sides hurt, until he looked down at his own pot. It was pitch black. What exactly was he proud of? Jae-sang didn't have the heart to say it, but when pressed by Lee Jun, he could only stammer the harsh truth. Actually, Jang hesitated. At this rate, you're both going to fail this class. Neither of you has a single drop of talent for alchemy. Emotional damage. That truth hit harder than a physical blow. Minhun couldn't help but curse under his breath. They had practiced for countless hours, yet the results were consistently straight garbage. They had to avoid a failing grade at all costs. Jang scratched his head, feeling helpless. Is there really no way to save us? Jang hesitated. Look, there is only one shot, but it requires a legendary item. We have to find a monster called the Moon Firefly. These things only live in super clean spots, far from human trash and pollution. They are basically urban legends. Less than 100 hit the black market annually. Grind 1,000 shells into powder, and you get a catalyst that supercharges any potion instantly. It is their only hope to save their grades. Minhun and Yujang finally sucked it up. They tracked down Gosen, who immediately glared at them. What do you two want? Her saltiness was totally expected. Not after the massive beef they had before. I need a favor, Li Jun said flatly. I am not doing squat for you. She snapped back. Get lost. But Li Jun was ready. You sure? Do you even know who I am? She just laughed. What? You gonna offer me extra credit? Nope, cold hard cash, Li Jun said. We can sign for 30 million right now. Yujang nearly lost her mind. Where did he get that much cash? But for the sister of the golden spider lily, this was just another Tuesday. Deal, I am in. Her attitude flipped faster than a TikTok video. Yujung was shocked it was that simple. Soon, the chaotic crew headed to Jolabukdu near the Dew Mountains. This air is so fresh, Yujun cheered. You think we are on vacation? Lai Jun sneered. Zhang just gave an awkward smile. Those two are cut from the same cloth. Soon just sighed at the stupidity. An hour ago, things in the planning room were super tense. Sounds like a plan, Soon said. But even with my tracking, I need a trail to follow. You got a lead? I am bringing a pro alchemist. Do not sweat it. Who is it? She asked. Minhun glanced toward the door. Li Jae-sang poked his head in shyly. That is the genius you mentioned? Soon looked totally skeptical. She knew this guy way too well. They were on the same team during the freshman hunt. An alchemist? Now that is a total plot twist. I thought he was just some kid failing martial arts class. Honestly, I was pretty clueless back then, Jae-sang admitted in the present. As they talked, they fell behind. Lai Jun, already way ahead, yelled, Keep up! You look way better now. Soon smirked, looking relieved. She bolted off, leaving Jang struggling to keep the pace. Now, regarding these moon fireflies, they are rare monsters that sometimes show up in the real world. People have tons of theories about how they swarm, but one thing is certain. Ever since the outbreak, mana has soaked the earth. It turned normal plants and animals into beasts. That is why Li Jun picked this spot. It was the ultimate breeding ground. Soon warned them they would be hard to find. But Minhun and Yujang just trusted Jang completely. If he says it is cool, then it is cool. Li Jun shook his head. Nah, Jang just really likes bugs. Before Yujang could even process that, someone yelled, Found it! These are moon firefly tracks. Finally, it was Soon's time to shine. She triggered her tracking skill. Magic surged as she locked onto the scent. Think you finally got them? Yujun went to cheer, but Jang shushed her immediately. Quiet, or they will bolt. They stopped at a pitch-black forest. Yujun looked around nervously. Is your internal GPS actually working? Soon glared. My skill is perfect, trust me. Suddenly, a beam of light shot into the sky. Inside, millions of moon fireflies danced. That is them. But wait, aren't they totally massive? They are monsters, remember? They are built different. But these things were not just big, they were crazy fast. Lai Jun stepped up. Gravity field. He tried to pin them down, but the fireflies just shrugged off the pressure. These are not normal bugs, Soon yelled. Jun, crank up the power. I cannot, Lai Jun hissed. He was not skilled enough to adjust the power without squashing them. We are going to lose them, Jang cried. No way. Li Jun's eyes burned with resolve. We are not losing a single one. He switched tactics immediately. Instead of crushing them, he wove the gravity into a giant net. Space literally bent around the swarm. Gotcha. What are you waiting for? Grab them. Soon stood there frozen in shock. The mana room Jae-hun built was more than just cool. It was a total masterpiece. I knew you were a beast. Jang dove into the room to snatch up the fireflies. Yujang hesitated though. She absolutely hated bugs, but Jae-hun was not about to let her complain. He showed zero mercy and shoved her right inside. Soon followed last, holding her jar, while eyeing Jae-hun suspiciously. Her mind was racing in that thick mana field. Could a random academy student really pull off a space like this? Even an elite third year would not have this much control. The question was burning a hole in her brain. Where did this terrifying prodigy even come from? Hey, do not touch that. Too late, Yujung screamed as sticky firefly slime coated her. Jang could not stop the slime in time, so he did the only logical thing. He just stood there and laughed his head off. Cut back to the potion workshop, absolute disaster was looming over both of their cauldrons. The liquid was pitch black, same as before. One final step remained, adding the moon firefly powder. Once the powder hit the brew, the potion started changing. It was enough to make Hoyan and Ina's eyes pop. I worked my butt off to refine that dust, Jiang bragged with a smug grin. Now, we filter it. The purity level should be, at least his voice died out. His face went pale checking the readings. Both cauldrons turned a nasty crimson. Min Jae-hyun pumped his fist, fast and furious. Look at that speed, we hit a record time success. Hoyeon and Ina nodded, thinking the color looked pretty sick. Only Jong had a look of total impending doom. Jae-hun's purity is 51%. Yu Jang, 47%. Was that good? A few days later, the grades dropped. Spoiler alert, it was hot garbage. Kim Yoo-jung hung her head so low she almost snapped her neck. Min Jae-hun looked like a storm cloud. You two have zero talent, the teacher snapped. You're making soup, not monsters. The roast hit deep because it was facts. It absolutely crushed the egos of the class's heavy hitters. Meanwhile, Ina snatched the top spot at rank 1. Hoyeon barely survived at 29. June landed at a boring 31, and poor Yoo-jong tanked at 42 despite using elite gear. We really need Jong's help, she groaned. You guys did great. Young lied straight to their faces. Minhun ground his teeth. Sensing the vibes, Hoyeon got out of there. Exams are still coming. Kim Yoo-jang wasn't ready to give up just yet. The mock exam was definitely no walk in the park. It was the freshman hunt, a brutal test of everything from the simulation. It was built to break them. Even worse, the team formation came with a really nasty twist. Every student had a cost based on their rank. Right now, Kim Yoo-jung had a price tag of 14 points. Calculating the perfect team was a total headache. 4-man squads only, and the total point cost couldn't top 50. Hoyeon cost 17. Ina was 15. Jae-hun stared at his score in shock. Back then, he only cost 6. He was hyped to carry a solid team, but this was a disaster. The whole system was complete trash. High-rank elites were stuck carrying the bottom feeders. Who came up with this garbage? As he fumed, a silver-haired guy approached him with a smile. Well, look who it is. A familiar face. The same snake who bullied Jong back in his past life. This time, he wore a fake mask of friendship. Ju Han-sung smiled, trying to recruit Jae-hun, who stayed stone-cold silent. I'm offering to squad up, Han-sung said smoothly. My point cost is way lower than my actual skill level. You're at 20, right? Good luck finding decent teammates on that budget. I'll do you a favor. Minhyun stood up and let out a cold laugh. Dudes like this were everywhere. Absolute trash who preyed on the weak while kissing up. I don't need a daddy, thanks. Ju Han-sung tried to save the conversation, but Jae-hun shut him down immediately. This isn't your business. I can ace this exam solo. Besides, you're literally useless to me. You're way too weak. Jae-hun turned his back, having already teamed up with 2 others right in Han-sung's face. Ju Han-sung blinked. If he remembered right, those 2 were the cowards who ditched Minhyun in the dungeon simulation to save their own skins. Now Jae-hun wanted them? The humiliation was pure poison. Han-sung ground his teeth, his face twisting in rage as he stormed away. He swore right then that Jae-hun would regret ever disrespecting him like that. Later, Jae-hun sat in a cafe with the 2 runners. They knew they were scumbags, but he wasn't there for friends. He was there to win. Kim, Gina, and Pelgu had cheap point costs because they ran away like cowards. That made them undervalued assets. To Jae-hun, these 2 were the real steal. Not that fraud, Ju Han-sung. But who was the final piece of the squad? I invited our 4th member, Minhun said as the door opened. It was Kim Yoo-jang. Her eyes narrowed instantly. She hadn't forgotten Kim Gina was the one who trapped her. You've got to be kidding, she spat. You want me to team up with these pathetic backstabbers? Meanwhile, Director Gin was losing the war against a PR nightmare. News of a death leaked, and the backlash was severe. Crash! He shattered a vase in a total rage. He had spent a fortune trying to shut the media up. Why wasn't the story dying? Only one power could stand against him, the Lotus Guild. He knew she was behind it. He had to swallow his pride and take the L. I'll wait for the public to chill out, he hissed. Then the plan goes forward, all for the glory of Valhalla. Back at the cafe, the tension was absolutely suffocating. Kim, Gina, and Pelgu couldn't even look up. Fine, let's say I forgive them. Yoo-jang glared at Jae-hun. You seriously trust them with your life? Yoo-jung's doubt is thick enough to cut with a knife. Look, I get it. This isn't easy, especially after we told you to book it. But this is the only play we've got. Kim Yoo-jang tries to trust him, even with a million questions burning. Why did you pick us? She asks. With those skills, you could totally crush a solo run. Ji-hoon smirks. Her instincts are dead on. There are 2 rules for this squad. 1, you gotta hate Guja with every bone in your body. 2, you keep our secrets to the grave. His vibe turns cold. I'm not here for grades. I'm here to burn Guja's world down. This guy is playing 4-dimensional chess. Ji-hoon is just waiting to see what moves Guja makes to escape this trap. Showtime. Instructor Park Jun takes the stage to run the second half of the practical exam. He's just another one of Guja's puppets. But this isn't some normal school test. The whole nation is watching this live. This is the big stage for students to show off for the world. But fame has a price. Every single screw-up will be judged by the entire country. The moment of truth is finally here. Jiun leads Team D as they warp straight into the heart of the blazing plains. The goal is simple: clear the stages and bring back the boss's core. No sweat. Floor 1. Wipe out every monster and find the gate to the next level. The heat is brutal, but Jiuni is already mapping the place out. Looks like Muspelheim. Fire pillars explode around them. We scout first, Jiun barks. No reckless moves. We need intel before things get messy. Also, I need to grab a specific item. Kima is lost. Ice grass. If we stay in this oven without it, we'll be cooked before the fight starts. This fire is straight up lethal. The crew is already in awe of Jiun's foresight. For Jiun, it's just common sense. Rule number 1, don't die. Everything else comes second. He pings the ice grass with mana detection. Move out. Once they find it, he starts barking orders. Grab everything you can. SEO was top of the alchemy class, so he's on potion duty. The stream goes live. A warning pops up. Keep the language clean for the fans. Drones are everywhere, filming the action. Jiun hates being watched, but he'll use it to his advantage. Heads up. 4 C-rank monsters are closing in fast. Jiun signals for Formation B. The team locks in. They're up against sentient magma lumps. Bariel steps out to pull aggro. Stay back. If you touch those magma sacks, they'll blow up like C4, Jihun warns. Yu Jang preps her water arrow, knuckles white as she waits for the signal. Jiun holds. Not yet. Perfect timing. Now. Yu Jang fires, deleting the first target in a split second. Kim. In jumps in with fire magic. Jiun checks his math. It's time to reveal the ice cannon. He smirks at the drone. You don't drop the bass during the intro, right? Wait for the tension to peak, then let it rip. Glacial rain. Shards of ice shred the field. A rookie with this power? No way. This is just the first act of his plan to bury Guja using the whole country as his weapon. A big player watches the stream. He notices the kid didn't even break a sweat using high-level magic. He knows this kid and Gujane are enemies. He also knows the Lotus Guild has his back. A dark smile grows. If I use this kid, I can finally expose Guyan as a fraud. Inside the dungeon, Jiune's flexin'. The ice rain stops, leaving only dead monsters and silence. Yu Jang isn't even shocked anymore. She's just wondering when he learned that crazy spell. Kima fans herself. It's too hot. Mobs are dead. Let's chug those potions now. Jiune agrees. This heat is trash. We need a spot that isn't a literal oven. Beryl spots a cavern. Less energy leakage. Let's set up camp there. Elsewhere, Ina is sniping lava mobs with water bolts. Hoon is just slicing through them, looking totally bored. Is that it? This dungeon is a joke. It's way easier than the simulation was. Hearing that cocky talk, a teammate behind them turns purple. One slip and we are cooked. You total idiots. Meanwhile, Hoon keeps dancing with those magma slimes, taking 0 damage. Man, life is seriously unfair sometimes. Hoon brushed off his hands, sure that Trash Mob was toast. Inan just gave a sharp nod. Time was money, and they had to floor it. The 2 platoon members swapped terrified looks, their faces turning ghost white. If those monsters were actually impressed, just how insane was Jae-Hun's real power? That thought alone gave them the chills. Meanwhile, Team D nailed their setup with total military precision. Potions bubbled in the pot. It will take about 1 hour for the brood to chill out, a teammate noted. So gave the bubbling liquid a side eye, but Jae-Hun just nodded. It is stable enough. I will wrap this up in record time. Seo just laughed at his captain's crazy levels of confidence. Kim Yoo-jong leaned back, groaning at the brutal heat. This place is basically a carbon copy of a furnace. She whined loudly. Seeing a chance, Jae-hyun jumped right in to roast her into the ground. Their petty bickering filled the camp like a stand-up show. Kim Jina could not help but giggle. You two are way closer than you like to admit, she said with a smirk. Yoo-jung looked ready to scream and tear her hair out. Her friend was driving her nuts, playing the innocent card right after being a total pain in the neck. Once she cooled off, she saw the truth. That virtual dungeon glitch was not even their fault, but fear had totally fried her brain, letting panic take the wheel. Listen up. I have a plan for what is next. Jae-Hun's voice cut through the air, but as he explained the wild plan, Yu Jang looked worried. Was this madness actually possible? Jae-Hun, though, was oozing pure confidence. The digital clock hit 12:04. It was showtime, the perfect time to cause some total chaos. The second Jae-Hun turned, mana flared to life. Complex magic circles glowed in the air as he started the sequence. The connection to the planes went haywire, then the voice locks broke. The live stream chat exploded into total anarchy. Viewers went wild in the chat. Has the hunt started yet? Where is the rest of the team? Why are there only 2 of them? Total confusion. Relax, everyone. My team is doing just fine. Jae-hyun flashed a smirk at the hidden camera. His charisma stats were clearly maxed out. Everyone was stunned. They could hear him, only him. Jae-hyun knew they would react like this. He did not wait to drop the bomb. I just tweaked the magic planes a little bit. Nice to meet you all. He said it like he was ordering a latte. Now the real show starts. On the other side, Headmaster Guja watched with narrowed eyes while Jae-hyun kept talking like it was nothing at all. Jae-hyun smirked. What is the point of a stream if you cannot hear the star? Baron turned pale, asking if the boss was okay. Guja just waved him off. I am fine, he grunted. His head was pounding, but his face turned dark and scary. This was impossible. The planes were built by elite mages and top academy professors, himself included. How on earth did a student like Jae-hyun hack such a complex magical system? It made no sense. Headmaster, we need to punish him right now, Hajun suggested. Guja really wanted to crush the kid, but his hands were tied. No rule actually covered this insane stunt. The headmaster just let out a dry, helpless laugh. He had been totally played. Who would have thought a student could rewrite a dimension made by grand wizards? It was unheard of, but Gu still found a sliver of hope. Students were banned from leaking secret info. If Jae-hyun crossed that line, he was getting expelled for sure. The second the kid signed that pledge, he was trapped, or so the headmaster believed. Suddenly, June looked right into the camera. Headmaster Guja? Oh yeah, I know you are watching this. People are curious about you, sir. But wait, everyone knows the rumors, right? Like what happened during that guild accident. There are so many dirty secrets hidden in the dark. Guja froze, his blood turning to ice. Am I worried about getting kicked out? Jae-hyun laughed. Do not worry about that. Want to know who the headmaster loves most? He only cares about the strong. He only loves survivors. Power is the only law at this academy. Do you really think he would expel his best student? It was a total challenge. Guja felt his sanity snap. The headmaster finally realized Jae-hyun was a predator from the start, and he had figured it out way too late. He snapped orders at Instructor Park Hajun. The second the exam ends, kick him out. Once the press chills out, hire 2 veteran A-rank hunters. We are silencing Jae-hyun for good. The old man swore the boy would pay in blood. Meanwhile, Jae-hyun kept mocking him. If he expels a top scorer, he proves he is a fraud. Would a big-shot headmaster actually play that dirty? The whole internet went nuclear. Forums exploded with gossip about the scandalous headmaster Gu. This chaos was the exact weapon Jae-hyun had crafted. Public opinion flipped. Everyone waited to see how the headmaster would hide the mess. Flashback to the tent earlier. I am rewriting the subspace formula, Jae-hyun said. We need the audience to catch every single word. His teammate just stared, totally clueless about the genius moves happening. Phase 1 wrecked the reputation of Gujian. We will weaponize the viewers by feeding their craving for drama. Yu Jang hesitated, biting her lip nervously. Is this even safe? He might do something psycho to us in revenge. Jae-hyun put a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Do not worry. We have the ultimate shield. Millions of eyes are watching us right now. Besides, there is no rule against hacking the subspace. He grinned. Now, let the real dungeon crawl stream start. This is a special event just for you. So, sit back and enjoy the show. The chat was scrolling so fast it was a total blur. Is this guy a pro? He is a better host than most TV stars. Praise for Jae-hyun flooded the screen. Despite the hype, Yu Jang shivered. These people are terrifying, she whispered, but the mic caught everything. The audience caught her fear and the chat went nuclear. Kim Yu Jang whines that her heart cannot take the stress, finding the situation totally annoying. Minhun stays firm, telling her to toughen up for the sake of their massive master plan. Yu Jang gets the logic. Yet, some mental hurdles feel like massive mountains that are almost impossible to climb. Jae-hyun knows that darkness well. In his past life, he thought about ending it all because of toxic online haters. But this is a second chance at life, and they have a mission to finish. The duo approaches a roaring waterfall of molten lava. Minhun turns to his livestream, promising to reveal a secret zone within the subspace that nobody else knows about. The operation starts right now. Kim Yu Jang triggers her thief abilities in Gale Force, while Jae-hyun warps physics with his gravity control powers. Time to show how a regressed Punisher crushes a dungeon. Meanwhile, in the shadows of the academy, Kim Jian takes a call from a mysterious man. Her orders are final. She has to find Minhun the second the exam is over. Are you sure about this, sir? She asks. The Dong A Guild is already backing Minhun. Getting involved now is dangerous. That is the point. The bearded mastermind demands she grab Jae-hyun and bring him to their side immediately. If they fail, they will have to let the kids set the terms for their alliance. Hanging up the phone, Kim Jian runs the numbers. Managing a talent like Jae-hyun could pay off big in the long run. But one huge problem remains. Director Gujian is also hunting the kid down. She needs to scout the battlefield before making her move. Back in the dungeon, Jae-hyun grabs Kim Yu Jang and launches into the air. What should have been a romantic movie scene looks more like a crazy WWE wrestling takedown, sending the chat into a laughing frenzy as Minhun finds solid footing on thin air. Yu Jang cannot hide her excitement. Minhun, you were right. There really is a hidden platform here, she screams. Hold on tight and start your spell. Do not mess up the timing, he warns. I get it. she screams back. Just do not let go. If you drop me, I am dead meat. Jae-hyun hauls her up like a sack of potatoes, leaping with incredible speed. Honestly, he has a grudge-filled respect for whoever found this super obscure hidden path. Even though the state funded this dungeon, Gujian deliberately hid this entire area. That snake really did not want a single student to find the treasures hidden here. At the summit, they are greeted by a mesmerizing glitter. Those glowing stones are the absolute key to beating this dungeon. Watching from the other side of the screen, Director Gujian is sweating buckets, frozen in total shock. The chat room is exploding. Viewers are dying to know how Jae-hyun found platforms that are completely invisible to the naked eye. Did Director Gujian actually design this for students to find on their own? One innocent comment reads, "They are completely unaware of the director's evil intent." Meanwhile, Jae-hyun marvels at the concealment. Even with his knowledge of every dungeon secret, seeing this spot in person is seriously impressive. Minhun wastes 0 seconds. He drops an ice rain skill, flash freezing the magma to carve a path straight into the fiery depths. He grabs a handful of golden gems and shoves them right at the camera. Anyone know what these beauties are? He trolls the chat. Some guess magic gear, others just look confused. Jae-hyun drops the truth. This is the essence of fire. He claims it is pure luck, teasing there is way more loot needed to clear this dungeon. The system window pops the stats. Essence of fire, a B-rank item that cranks up fire resistance big time. It skyrockets 300% the moment you eat it. But heads up, it is a one-time deal. This treasure will not be spawning again. Gujay crafted this spot to mimic a real dungeon, hiding loot to reward only the students with sharp eyes. It is some twisted motivation, but let's be real. No normal student is ever reaching this kind of high-level prize. The viewers start a massive fight over the insane market value of these drops. They are losing it over the high price, the wealth of MS Academy, and the irony of hiding gold in plain sight. Moving on, Minjun has no plans to quit the hunt after finding just one shiny toy. I wonder what kind of face Gujay is making, he thinks. Hope he is not satisfied with just this tiny bit of chaos. I still have plenty of gifts to deliver. Director Min Jae-hyun lets out a sneaky, wicked little grin. Night 1 of the midterm exams is here. It is round 2 of the practical. Inside a makeshift tent, Baek-soo finishes brewing a potion from ice herbs. The grind is worth it, but Kim Yoo-jang just collapses in total despair before the bowl of sludge. Jae-hyun shows zero mercy. I know it tastes like literal poison, but you have to drink it. It is the only way to clear this dungeon easily. Kim Yoo-jang knows he is right, but her tongue says no. Problem is, this hellish swamp water is physically impossible to swallow. Baek-soo adds that good medicine is always bitter. Choking it down, Kim Yoo-jang slams the bowl and instantly face plants onto the dirt floor. "Did you just poison me?" she gasps. "Wait." Min Jae-hyun shoots a suspicious side-eye toward the guy. "No way." Anyway, they are almost through the first floor. They just need the path to level 2 and to gear up faster. Meanwhile, back at the Academy's main control room, the vibes are super tense. The staff is grinding. What is the status? Instructor Park gets cut off as Kim Ji-an walks in to check. Instructor Park gets salty. He is the manager here, so why did she show up in person? Does she not trust him? Kim Ji-an shrugs and drops a cold truth bomb. Exactly. Her bluntness makes Park wince like he just chewed on raw ginger. Kim Soo-yan laughed inside. This guy was a total tool. Once Kim So-yi was gone, the power over round 2 should have landed right in her lap. Park Ha-jun just crawled through a legal loophole to steal the spot. He sneered, sounding super sarcastic. "We were hired as equals, yet I am a step ahead. My bad." But Kim Soo-yan did not care. His ego totally blinded him. He thought her silence was jealousy, sure that everyone wanted his shiny new title. "Just be honest with yourself," he taunted. But this time, Kim Soo-yan was not just walking away. Park Ha-jun puffed his chest out, flexing the respect he supposedly got from Chairman Gu. Sure, Kim was the GOAT 2 years ago, but those days are over. Guide Park. Kim Soo-yan finally spoke. "Let me tell you something. You better look at that rope you are holding. Make sure it is not already rotting away. That is all later." She walked off without a look back, leaving Park grinding his teeth in a rage. She was as stuck up as ever, but Park Ha-jun stayed cool. Principal Gu would restore his authority soon. This was nothing. Meanwhile, Team D finally broke into the second floor. The goal was simple: hunt the elite monsters and grab the hidden loot. Winning meant a fast warp to floor 3. But in another dimension, a white-haired guy asked Do-hun, "Do I still look like a low-life being?" He acted tough, but Do-hyun saw through him. "You talking about that powerful enemy?" Do-hun sighs. "Man, you are so boring." The white-haired guy argued that Hun was rushing over some mortal. They could crush them easily. But then what? Be stuck guarding the Frost Bridge forever? Just another gatekeeper. "I will handle that enemy myself. Do not worry. You are just a seed grown from evil." Do-hyun hated how dumb gods and humans were. Nothing ever changed. "I will show you guys the real deal soon." Back inside, Min Jae-hyun hit floor 2. Kim Ja was whining about the insane heat, totally spooked. Kim Yoo-jang knew trouble was coming. Jae-hyun knew this map by heart but played dumb. An hour back, they found stairs in a cave. No way a path is here, someone whispered. Kim Jin-ah was totally stunned. Why was this spot empty before? It just popped up. The trail down was hidden under sand. This layout was enough to wreck your brain. Exploring this hellhole was a total nightmare. To Kim Yoo-jang, it felt like a giant maze. Luckily, their guide was a human wiki who knew every secret. Just as she doubted her old friend, Jae-hyun spotted something big. A centipede. Kim Yoo-jang shrieked, jumping onto Kim Jin-a in pure terror. That scream probably wrecked the speakers of everyone watching the live stream. Right on time, Jae-hyun snatched that bug up. It was good loot for later. We have to gear up now. Jae-hyun pulled out some fire essences. Yoo-jang turned ghost white. Please don't tell me we eat that. Everyone else looked just as disgusted. Jae-hyun gave a soft, sweet smile. Hey, cheer up. Then his face went cold in a heartbeat. Eat it while I am still being polite. Seriously? But they had no choice. They choked down the trash. 3 floors total. The big boss was waiting at the bottom, but Min Jae-hyun was going to milk this level for every drop of loot. Before we take out the boss and clear this floor, I know exactly where the loot is stashed. Curious? Obviously. If the chat wanted treasure, he would give them a show. Clearing the level was not his only goal. He was after one specific item in this dungeon. The target? Fire salamanders. These monsters love hoarding shiny stuff like crowns. That means their nests are absolute gold mines. Someone fact-checked him live. Confirmed. The streamer was telling the truth, and the chat went totally wild. How did he know what was inside the salamander nest? He said he studied, but that was a total lie. The secret treasure was a replica of Balmong, the legendary dragon-slaying sword from that famous ancient epic poem. Just like the Thunder Axe of Perun, it had insane power. A German ranker named Bach owned the original. Even as a copy of an S-rank item, this sword was top tier. But what is the salamander weakness? Kim Jana asked. The belly, Yoo-jang answered fast. She was always the pro at the game theory. These fire salamanders have skin like armor. Most basic attacks do not even leave a scratch on them, but their bellies are a massive weak point. Hit that spot and killing them is as easy as breathing. The best way is to blast them with ice magic. Gina was amazed by how much Yoo-jung actually knew. Like the teacher said, the best time to kill is right after they eat when they get all slow. That is exactly why Jae-hyun wanted them perfectly prepared before they started this massive monster hunt. Snagging a hidden piece in this spot would be the ultimate bonus. Jae-hyun did not even try to hide the greed in his eyes. Walking deeper, the heat became totally suffocating. Without that fire essence protection, Seol-gu knew he would have been cooked alive in this place. Jae-hyun started plotting while acting casual. Suddenly, he stopped everyone, saying he felt a weird mana spike. The live chat went crazy with hype. Every viewer knew what was about to happen and started whispering secrets. The crew stood in a rocky field covered with thousands of old rusted swords. No way this pile of trash was the legendary secret item. To normal people, it just looked like worthless, useless junk. Still, this was definitely the hidden treasure of the second floor. The real loot was hidden among thousands of fakes. It was a trap the teacher set to confuse everyone. But they did not plan for a wild variable like him. Jae-hyun used his reconnaissance skill to find the one item. The chat exploded, everyone guessing why he was pumping all that mana into his eyes right now. Within seconds, Jae-hyun found sword number 30. Even if it was just a copy, it was rank A. Its powers were locked, but it still gave 70 strength and 30 agility points. Even crazier was the passive S-rank Dragon Slayer skill. It was broken now, but the power was infinite. Once it wakes up, the Dragon Slayer skill will boost physical damage whenever you fight a dragon enemy. Questions filled the stream. How did Jae-hyun find a hidden piece with that kind of crazy precision? Keyboard warriors went wild in the comments, dissecting every single frame to figure out how he pulled it off. Jae-hyun just smirked and said he had a plan. Spilling the beans now would totally kill the vibe, right? Plus, this replica was stuck in the dungeon. Unless he hit certain marks, the thing was basically just expensive scrap metal. But for Jae-hyun, it was pure gold because he actually knew how to sneak it out. Back to the hunt. The squad found the fire salamander's nest fast, but they had to play the waiting game. The queen only eats once the sun goes down. Yoo-jang was sweating it. Waiting around was a total death trap. These fire lizards have crazy noses. Staying too long was basically asking to get slaughtered before the fight even started. That is exactly why we snagged that creature. Seeing her try to bolt, Jae-hyun grabbed Yoo-jang and yanked her back. You are the MVP of this mission, he said. Yoo-jang looked like she was about to totally snap. Their secret weapon was that centipede from the entrance. People call it the bomb centipede for a very good reason. When it feels threatened, it leaks this nasty fluid that makes literally everyone nearby start crying like a baby. This gross bioweapon was their ticket to winning. Seal and Gina were told to hide behind the big rocks. Yu Jung got stuck with the suicide mission of baiting the queen. You promised, remember? Don't back out now. Before heading out, she gave Jae-hyun a look that could literally kill. Of course, he replied. Who do you think I am? He gave her a confident thumbs up while internally screaming that he was totally dead meat if this plan flopped. Flashback to the meeting. When Jae first gave her this job, Yu Jang turned white as a sheet and started sobbing. She cried about hating bugs, refusing to even touch the gross centipede. That is when Jae whispered a deal. I have an item instructor Soon wants. Survive this, and it is all yours. Yu Jang went from crying to dead serious in a heartbeat, the cold, hard truth. He was actually just going to give her some random junk. If she finds out, she will definitely kill him. He had to cook up a better lie later. For now, they had a queen to take out. The chat was worried this plan was a total disaster, but they forgot one thing. The squad had a wind magic expert. Kim Yu Jang stepped up. She slammed her staff down, pumping her mana directly into the air around them. Green wind exploded everywhere. The chat was losing it. Was she really pushing that nasty smell right into the nest? Some viewers realized how insane this was. You would need god-tier mana control to pull off a stunt like that. Others just watched in awe while feeling bad for the monsters. Talk about a dirty, underhanded way to win a fight. It was official. Humans are the most despicable creatures in the entire dungeon. Back in the nest, the nightmare started. As soon as the queen smelled the centipede, she started crying like crazy. Phase 1? Total success. The beast roared in pain, smashing everything in sight while tears flooded its eyes. You guys remember the plan? Solu and Gina nodded. They had to wait for the signal to jump in. Jae-hyun did not hesitate. He fired a level 2 ice spear straight at the distracted monster. Through the tears, the monster screamed, spitting out a massive wave of fire. Jae was waiting for this exact second. Just as the beast is about to fire, he chucks that rusted sword right into its wide-open mouth. Yu Jang stands there frozen, tears streaming down her face, totally and completely clueless. Even the chat is spamming question marks. Did Jae lose it? Is he trying to start a lizard mukbang now? Even the lizard pauses, totally confused by the snack. Just watch, Jae-hyun says, smirking right at the lens, a mysterious look in his eyes. Meanwhile, back at the school, a certain professor is losing his mind. Professor Guan is stunned. He purposely erased that trick from the textbooks. How does a rookie know about the purification exploit? The salamander snaps out of it and lets out a roar, breathing a massive wave of hellfire. Jae yells for the shields to go up. The fire fades, and the monster spits the sword back out. It is not rusted anymore. It is gleaming steel. The chat goes insane. The cursed status is finally gone. That murderous passive skill just unlocked. The viewer count is hitting the roof as everyone realizes what he just did. Everything is going exactly according to his plan. He looks at the camera, cool as a cucumber. The Queen's core has a natural cleansing power. It can purify cursed items, but there is a major catch. The monster has to be alive when it breaths on the item. Getting the timing right is basically impossible, but with the right magic tweaks, it is child's play. Viewers are losing it. Is this really some rookie stream? No way. This dude talks like a veteran hunter with decades under his belt. Watching him grip that blade, the rumors are flying. Is he going for that legendary magic swordsman class? Jae-hyun doesn't blink. He pops 3 speed skills all at once. He is a total blur, hunting that lizard down with a gale force slash. With surgical precision, he takes the beast's leg off. Landing hard, he drops a glacial spike, slamming ice upward to expose its soft belly. That is a massive opening right there. Jae-hyun lunges, burying his blade deep in the creature's gut for the kill. The beast just straight up collapses. Hunt is over. Chat is exploding with hype and praise, acting like he is the new god of the dungeon. Viewers aren't guessing anymore. They are sold. This isn't just a choice he is making. The guy was born to be a magic swordsman. Meanwhile, Seoa is snacking while she drops a bombshell article exposing this rookie's insane potential. It goes viral instantly. Guildmaster Yu watches the chaos and laughs. So, this was your plan all along, you sneaky fox. Total Jae-hyun move. An hour before the dungeon, he briefed her on the show he was about to put on. Seoa warned him that tagging the guild was a huge gamble, but he just told her to watch. Just watch the plan work, he said. Decide if I am worth the investment after you see what I can do. His math was perfect. The guildmaster is officially hooked. Get the press on the phone, she orders. Now, Professor Guan's reputation is sinking like a rock. Everything is going exactly to plan. Seoa's article views are blowing up like fireworks on New Year's Eve. She still doesn't get Jae-hyun's endgame, but the numbers don't lie. He came to her right before the second round.